Welcome to the Indie Corner After Dark. We're not only talking about all things independent comics, but everything comics. I'm Mikey.
I'm Rebecca.
I'm Seamus.
And today, people are back at it again with another episode of Indie Corner After Dark. It's episode 16. And yeah, it's been a minute. We haven't really done one since, I believe, the Across the Spider-Verse review, which did pretty well. So thanks for everyone who watched that one. And yeah, it was going to be a good time. It's going to be going back to more of the news format of Indie Corner After Dark. And yeah, so we'll be covering some stuff from that, some news that happened last week, and some stuff, a little bit of stuff this week as well. And yeah, it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be a good time. So thanks, Rebecca and Seamus, for joining me. I'm ready for the conversation.
Yes, sir.
Sir. Yeah. So obviously to start off, people. So we're just gonna get right into it. And so yeah, I mean, just mostly gonna start with some news from last week. Yeah. So obviously people weren't aware. Deadpool 3 is currently was currently shooting at some but as of last week there was some things going on with Deadpool 3, some news, as well as some set photos that were one official photo that was dropped and a lot of some set photo leaks. So yeah, so we're gonna be talking about the some of the Deadpool 3 set photos that dropped. Yes, obviously the big one, because obviously when we know what all we knew about from Deadpool 3 was that that little teaser. That was not even a teaser, that little video that Ryan Reynolds dropped into social media, I believe like sometime last year, and revealing that Hugh Jackman was reprising his role as Logan, as Wolverine again, which surprised the hell out of us because we thought that would never happen. But yeah, so we got one official and like a bunch of non-official images of not only Ryan Reynolds back as Deadpool, but Hugh Jackman as Wolverine in his official comic book accurate costume. And I don't know about y'all, but like I was so hyped to see this. Holy crap. Hugh Jackman looks incredible. And like not like, and just the fact that like they're actually like Ryan Reynolds, obviously like being faithful with the Deadpool character for so how many years he's been portraying the character, but like he's being faithful by making Hugh wear this awesome like Wolverine like costume. Yes, so I don't know, off rip, what are your thoughts? I got a couple photos, but what are your thoughts on this initial? This is the official.
I think that if he rips those sleeves off, we're gonna have the perfect Wolverine fit. Because I like it, but I think he gotta lose those sleeves if he's ever gonna like actually look like the way I need him to look. You know what I mean?
I got you, bro. I got you. I heard there's an actual like there's a complication with Hugh Jackman. Like apparently like I guess he's at that age where he's like prone to like skin cancer.
Yeah,
so.
He's had skin cancer, but like what Australian hasn't had skin cancer like 8 times? You know what I mean? My dad had skin cancer like 5 times at least now. So
gosh.
You know what? You can take the L. You can take.
Jesus. Okay.
No. But it for all intents and purposes, it looks really good.
Mm-hmm.
I think it looks. It's exactly what I wanted it to be.
Gotcha. Rebecca, what do you think?
Well, I was a little worried about Deadpool 3 because of the writer's strike and now the actor's strike and how that would affect the movie. But visually, like these costumes, I've been very like happy about everything that I've seen so far. Like I think these look like great costumes. I know some people are complaining about, Wolverine's costume still being like a little over designed. I don't really think so. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just like how the color like pops off the.
Yeah, here's the thing. Like, is it? I mean, I don't really think it's that over designed. I mean, it probably had to make it as like practical as possible, which like makes sense. But like, they're being so comic accurate that they have the freaking like little things on the sides. They even have the pointless like shoulder things that make no sense. Like they didn't have to do that, but they have it, and it works really well. And I mean, granted, like obviously, like Hugh Jackman had to get back into like crazy ass shape for it, which I mean, yeah, it would be better if they had the sleeves. But honestly, the way they gotta have him look, the way it forms around him, I don't mind. And like I think it looks really well. And I'm gonna like transition to the other slides. But yeah, it's more of like the actual like unofficial like set photos. But you can even tell that like they kind of changed the Deadpool costume too. Like it's more like of a cloth material rather than like a leather
It
material.
looks like a better red too. Like it's
And
more
brighter
clear.
red. Yeah.
It's more like saturated.
Mm-hmm. And like, but yeah, no, I think this is well. I think these are both well done, and hopefully, in terms of Deadpool 3, they stick with honoring the whole like rated R thing, because obviously for people that don't know, this is actually going to be set in the MCU, which I'm still curious how that's going to work, but obviously we're probably going to get more stuff when the movie continues filming, whenever filming starts back up again. But yeah, like it just looks really cool, and like obviously, like you can see here, this being casual, which I think is like really funny. I just love like they're just being like just casual like superhero bros on set. I think it's very funny. But it also going to go to the next one. Also shows like like there might be an actual fight between Logan and Wade in this movie, which again I kind of expected.
Yeah, when are they not like? When is Logan not trying to just absolutely murder Wade?
Yeah,
every
exactly.
chance he gets.
Exactly, right? I mean, it's kind of inevitable. You kind of expected it. But yeah, I mean, I just think that looks really cool. But one thing that kind of got me, like this is what actually sold me. It's actually like not just the costumes and stuff like that, which is awesome, and but what about give me an idea? But hey, like I kind of figure like what this set piece is gonna be, which I think is really interesting. So there's another image I have with Logan as Wolverine doing the classic, crouching Wolverine pose. But if the other photo here is actually like a set photo of like looks like they're gonna be fighting behind like a crumbled 20th Century Fox logo.
That looks hilarious.
That looks so funny. So like
I've heard theories say that this movie is going to be them killing off the Fox universe.
So yeah, that's the idea I kind of have, where it's like, so like they're gonna be taking the iconic like Deadpool kills the Marvel universe, or like Deadpool illustrated, and have it just be with the X-Men with the Fox Marvel characters instead. I think that would be brilliant, and that's kind of how like it's gonna tie into like Deadpool transitioning to the MCU because he killed all the Fox characters already. I think that would be a brilliant premise. It's like Deadpool illustrated, Deadpool kills the Marvel universe, but with the Fox Marvel characters. I don't know what your thoughts on that little theory is going to be.
I think that could be really fun. My only concern is just like like we keep saying in these like overabundance of cameos, which I'm not against cameos. I just hope we're not like relying on them too much. But I feel like Deadpool kind of works because it is like self-aware of it,
Exactly. And it's very hammy, so it makes sense. What's up, Seamus? Are you about to say something?
As funny as it is a little depressing that they're making a joke out of Disney cannibalizing an entire other company that used to make movies. You know what I mean? Like
they pretty much absorbed.
Yeah, it's a little like, oh, that's a little dark. But
true.
it is what it is. I'm sure it's gonna be funny in the movie.
Yeah.
But thinking about it deeply for more than a second, you're like, ooh, that's a little sad.
Yeah.
A bunch of people lost their jobs because of this. Oh, that's not funny.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
And the idea of them filming it during the writer's strike also was not good vibes. Especially because like a lot of it is like improvised, so you kind of need the writers on to be able to improvise. But I don't know. It just. I hope it's.
Didn't they stop filming because of the actor strike?
They completely stopped filming because of the actor strike. They were still filming because of the writer strike, but they just had no writers on set.
Yeah, and one of the big things about it too with Deadpool 3 like production, because initially with the writer's strike, because Ryan Reynolds also is a part of the WGA because he's a co-writer on this movie as well as being a producer and the star. So the big worry was the fact that like, will he be able to improvise and like improvise lines and stuff while production? Because obviously there's script rewrites and he obviously can naturally improvise, which kind of what makes Deadpool great, because some of the best lines in the Deadpool movies is when he improvs them. Yeah, and apparently he can't do that.
That was the whole issue, is that there's no improvisation. It's all what was written, and that's what's kind of like, oh, that's not exactly exciting to hear. That, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just like, why can't you just pay workers fairly so we can get
It
like
would be
at least
too
the
easy.
Deadpool that I wanted?
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of wild. But yeah, after seeing that photo of the Fox logo, I'm like, yo, it's gonna be kind of wild just to see like the classic like Famke Jensen coming back as like Jean Grey and just Halle Berry coming back as like Storm and fucking like, you know, like hell, like freaking like I don't know, like who, like Fantastic Four, have Ian Gruffin and Michael Chiklis and Jessica Alba come back, get murked. That'd be kind of wild, you know. But I doubt it'd be that crazy. But
I mean, yeah, it would be funny if the whole movie was just the cameo scene from Multiverse of Madness. If the whole movie was like, hey, look, it's the childhood characters you love, and now we're gonna like just like crucify all of them.
Yeah, it'd be kind of wild. But yeah, I got nothing to say on the set photos itself. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but like overall, huge jacked man looks really good as Wolverine, and yeah, huge Jackman, and
He
I'm
is
very
looking pretty huge for a 50-year-old.
honestly, right? It's very impressive. But overall, I mean, like it looks good from what I'm seeing. Like the costumes look really good, both Logan's and Deadpool's look really good. The idea of like this whole I hope the Deadpool illustrated thing is what they're actually going with this movie. That'd be a lot of fun. But yeah, that's all I gotta say on the set photos itself. Anyone else have anything to say before we move on to like the second part of the whole Deadpool stuff? Nah.
I'm good.
All right, so this isn't the only bit of news that we got with Deadpool. I mean, there's like one big thing. There's like three other small things, but the main thing that I want to talk about is the fact that, and I was telling Rebecca before we started that like Ryan Reynolds is officially one of the most goated people alive, because one of the appearances that we're getting in this movie is the fact that he reached out to not only then Jennifer Garner to reprise her role as Elektra for Deadpool 3. And my jaw dropped. I laughed really hard when I saw this news because like people who haven't seen Elektra, it's the infamous movie that came out in I believe 2004, 2005. I was a kid when I watched this movie. Infamously terrible. It's one of the worst superhero movies ever made.
It was. I don't know why I had this on DVD as a kid, but I did.
Oh, you did? Jesus.
Yeah, it's tough.
but it was a spin-off of the the I wouldn't say infamous because I low-key kind of like this movie, the 2000 the original Daredevil film with Ben Affleck. Yeah, this movie was garbage. It is awful. But like I liked it as a kid just because like Jennifer Garner was just really hot. So that's kind of distracted me from the plot. But yeah, no, this movie's terrible. I don't know. Like Rebecca, have you seen Elektra at all?
No, I've seen her in Daredevil, but that's
it. Yeah, you honestly give it a try. Give it a try. It's
right after you say it's one of the worst movies.
It is. It has right now it has an 11% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I mean honestly it deserves. But yeah, the fact that Jennifer Garner is going to be a good sport and reprise her role as Elektra for this film, kind of wild. Like I just think it's hilarious.
I just hope it's not too much of a. It's gonna be. I don't know why I'm even fucking saying this. It's gonna be like a cameo fest, but
exactly.
I hope there is a story somewhere in that cameo fest.
Exactly, right?
Enjoyable to watch, you know.
Yeah. I'm just curious to see how she's gonna look, if they're gonna like do the exact costume verbatim, or just tweak it a little bit. But
I don't know why. Are they getting her and Ben Affleck back?
Listen.
But
if they could get Ben Affleck to come back as Daredevil without enacting his drinking problem again, I'd be amazing.
If they could get him back as Batman in The Flash, I think they could get him back as Daredevil.
Yeah. I heard he was coming back before I heard Jennifer Garner coming back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But
I don't know how true that is, but
exactly, that sounds more like a rumor. This was like actually confirmed. So, yeah, I don't know. But
that was what I saw everyone immediately talking about on Twitter. Was they were like, "How are they gonna get?" You know what I mean? Shit like that. I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, it's kind of wild, but Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But also the other two small things was the fact that Cable's not going to be reprising. That Cable's not going to be coming back. So Josh Brolin's not reprising as well as Cable, and unfortunately, wifey Zazie Beetz, who plays Domino, is also not coming back as well. I mean that was them from word of mouth. They could be lying. I hope so, because I love both Cable and Domino in Deadpool 2 a lot. So
yeah.
But I don't know what your thoughts on that. I mean, that's all like the last thing I'm gonna say before we move on. But I don't know what your thoughts on those two like brief sets of news as well.
As far as actors not coming back, I feel like they're going for like a different story, and they don't really need to be in this one. I'm not saying like they couldn't enhance the movie, but the vibe I'm getting is like there's not really anything in particular for their characters to do.
Gotcha. Okay. But yeah, I wish they would have came back. Obviously to get more of like the official X-Force stuff, because they pretty much teased X-Force plans in Deadpool 2. But I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I got nothing else to say. I don't know if y'all have anything to say before we move on to the next topic.
Nah, you got it.
All right. So the next topic we're gonna talk about. So obviously, people who haven't been like watching the news or keeping seeing it on social media, but for the past like few months, there has been the Writers Guild has gone on strike. So the Writers Guild of America have been going on strike for the past like 2.5 months.
Yes, sir.
And obviously they have their list of demands that they've been meeting with the APTA, like the Producers like Association.
Yeah.
And obviously that's been going on for a while. We're going to go through the specifics in detail, hopefully, if I can find some information. But that's been going on for a while, and obviously there's been a bunch of delays going on as well, due to different projects like Marvel. Marvel and Disney have had some delays. Warner Brothers and DC have had some delays on other projects going on. But here's the thing: as of last week, well, it was officially announced and is now underway that SAG has been going on strike as well. So SAG and the WGA are now going on strike at the same time, and this has not happened. Last time this happened was 60 years ago, when like Reagan was an actor.
Yeah, when Reagan was the president of the
SAG-AFTRA, right? So yeah, this is pretty much unprecedented. Obviously, there was a WGA strike back in 2000 and 2007, which obviously caused a massive amounts of problems in terms of projects like Lost, Heroes, and we had a bad series of movies.
Oh yeah, that was bad.
That was terrible. Yeah.
But they were only striking, I think, back then for like a month or 2 months, and that's how bad it got.
It was 3 months.
Yeah, 3 months, and that's how bad it got. And it's been already 2 months, and it's not gonna. And did you see that quote of an unnamed like studio head saying that they're gonna continue the strike until the writers lose their homes? And I was like,
wow. They lose their homes and lose their money, and it's just like Jesus Christ. That was before SAG even striked. I read that article.
Yeah, that was the writers. That was just the writers, and they were already like,
they were like, we can hold out. We got some scripts in the back burner that we can churn out into projects and stuff like that. And then
apparently the guy who said that was Bob Iger.
Allegedly,
which is like, fuck that guy.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the thing too. Like now that the actors strike is underway. And I'm gonna like add like a brief list of one of the biggest things that they're fighting for, right? Obviously, is better pay. Better pay. Residuals, especially residuals. Trying to figure out a format for residuals for streaming, because streaming is like the biggest problem in terms of like how the idea of like residuals, how we used to work for like the past couple of decades, does not really apply to streaming nowadays.
Well, right now, correct me if I'm wrong. For most things, there is like zero or very little residuals for actors and writers for streaming, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Like at most, like and this supposed to apply to like the writers and the actors, but in terms of like say like on a Netflix show, if a writer does writing on a Netflix show and it goes out to streaming, usually like a residual back on like daytime television or cable, you could make like at least like $4,000 per month due to just reruns from residuals. But in terms of streaming, you can make maybe like a couple $100 maybe, I believe. So yeah, that's pretty much is the residual type of thing for Netflix for streaming services. So residuals is another thing, but also the idea, the use of AI in terms of for scripts, as well as AI. I think the practice of AI and body scans for background extras. So you pay like you only be paid like $100, like a day rate just for getting your body scanned, and they basically own your likeness and your image pretty much forever, which is
Horrifying.
really fucked up, and it's pretty much like on the level of like Black Mirror type of nonsense. Because like I find it kind of hilarious that like Jonah's Awful was literally a thing that just came out for Black Mirror for this season, and it's kind of like that's kind of low key coming true. It's insane. But yeah, and also I believe like health benefits and insurance is also another thing, because I find it hilarious that like kind of insane that the you have to make a certain amount of money in order to receive benefits and health insurance through the SAG-AFTRA, I believe, and I believe the amount of money you're supposed to make is I believe like $27,000 a year, and only like 10% of like 5% of actors. Like don't give me you can don't quote me on that, but around like 3% or like 3 to 5% of actual actors are able to make enough money to really receive those benefits. So it's insane. It's wild. And yeah, it's kind of wild. And also you got some CEOs of some big studios. I'm actually gonna call one out because this is an actual official story that actually happened. But Bob Iger, who's the CEO of Disney, actually got a lot of heat this past week because he referred to the demands that the SAG-AFTRA members are demanding or requesting and negotiating right now are considered to be quote unquote unrealistic. And I don't know what he was referring to in terms of which demand that they were talking about, but either way, it was very fucked up because he's a billionaire.
Yeah. I've read, and I don't know the exact numbers or the truth on this, but like what he makes in a year, like him alone, you could meet the demands of the strike, like every striker basically.
Yeah. And it was kind of wild. It was kind of wild because from that interview that where he said that statement, he was at a like big retreat apparently with that all these like CEOs from different production companies gather. And he was at a retreat at this like fancy retreat when this was happening. So I'm like, the fact that he said this on air and was like in this fancy retreat with all these billionaire, like all these like CEOs from the different production companies that make a bunch of money is insane. And then it's like, I don't know if you guys saw, I put this on my story actually. Bob's, I think it was David Zaslav, who is the CEO of Warner Brothers Discovery right now. Warner Brothers Discovery right now was doing a graduation like speech at Boston University, which is his alma mater, and they're really like yelling at him during the thing, like pay your writers, and they were just clapping. Yo, it's insane. Like it's kind of wild because like I saw a chart from like this various chart of like what each around like the rough estimate of what each CEO of these various production companies make. Yo, did you all see how much like David Zaslav and Bob Iger make in a year?
Yep.
So
it's making ungodly amount of money.
500 mil about.
So what combined is around 500 mil, but yeah, like Bob Iger makes a little bit around like roughly like 150 mil a year. But then I saw David Zaslav and I was like, you're out of your mind. Like David Zaslav makes about like a little over like 480 million a year. It's insane.
Here's the thing: if you can afford to put out The Flash and let that movie bomb, you could have afforded to pay your writers.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
He makes like roughly 500 times his lowest worker. That's insane. Like I'm just and yeah, like This is what's going on, people. This is what's happening around that, like, happening. And the thing is, like, a lot of actors, a lot of big, because obviously, real talk, this is not going to affect like the DiCaprios, the Brad Pitts, like, cool. They make enough money as it is to survive, but this is mostly going to affect the people that are that do background work, that do the small time parts, actually, like, have to survive, have to like work to survive. And
even the people who made it big on Netflix, like I don't know who exactly, but some of the actresses from Orange is the New Black, which was one of the big early
Kimiko Glenn.
They didn't really get paid all that much for that show, and that was one of the things that really put Netflix on the map.
Exactly, right? Yeah, it was Kimiko Glenn, who was who was on like the later seasons of Orange is the New Black. She also played Penny Parker. She's the voice of Penny Parker in Spider-Verse. She was talking about how even like a lot of people that worked on Orange is the New Black had to get second jobs, because even though they were on a successful show, they couldn't make enough to pay their rent, to get cabs to go to set. Like, that's insane. And the thing is, like, and because John Campea was talking about it, I think yesterday, Netflix is like is one of the biggest reasons why they're on strike, because they don't really have a residual format for their workers, and they pay a lot less for how much content they're putting out, and yeah, it's insane. It's insane. And yeah, I don't know what your thoughts on like the logistics aspect, because I'm gonna go into a lot of like the various projects and stuff in terms of like the promotion that's happening right now. But I don't know what your thoughts on just, if anyone wants to have any more info on the demands and all this other like logistic stuff, if at all. Right?
I think that it's absolute bullshit that the producers are trying to just get away with not paying anyone. Because if you actually read the demands, they are very simple demands.
Exactly.
And I think the fact that Bob Iger was like, they're impossible demands to meet, yet A24 is getting a bunch of waivers because they are agreeing to continue to produce movies while adhering to the demands of both the SAG-AFTRA and the Writers Guild.
Exactly.
So obviously it's not that insane. If A24 like still a studio, but not as big as Disney or HBO Max or anyone like that, and they're able to adhere to those standards and those demands that quite frankly are quite easy to
exactly
to adhere to, and it's just insane to me. It's so greedy. It's so overtly just like harming an entire industry for the sake of money that at that point doesn't matter to you. Like, David Zaslav should not care whether or not he makes $400 million or $500 million, because at that point, that's too much fucking money you're making.
Exactly, right?
You know what I mean? It's just
yeah. And
here's the last thing I'll add to that too. Like, streaming as a whole isn't super profitable for the companies. Like, a lot of streaming services struggle to stay afloat because they don't make a ton of money. Yeah. But if you're putting out garbage, people are just not going to use your streaming service. You're going to be dead even faster,
Exactly. I mean, I was even reading today as well, like, and also seeing John Campea talk about it, but like literally like a lot of streaming services right now like have either have lost money, just broke even, or have just made money, which made some money, which took them a long time to do. Like, Netflix has made a bunch of money, which took them a decade to accomplish. Like, I think like Paramount Plus or like Hulu or Peacock, whatever, like just broke even. Like Disney Plus just broke even. So yeah, like some of these things aren't even profitable. But like, like you said, like they're gonna keep putting out shitty content. Not a lot of people are gonna subscribe. Not a lot of people are gonna like, willing to pay those subscriptions. And yeah, it's insane. But yeah, I was looking up like the list of like the core demands they're asking for: general wage increases, protections against the use of actor images through artificial intelligence, boosts in compensation for successful streaming programs, and improvement in health and retirement benefits. But yeah, not even talking about the whole AI thing, because their use of like Chat GPT they're considering using Chat GPT in order to like produce scripts and what I said before, like the AI for the body images, the body scanning thing for background actors, as well as the current issue, like controversy with Secret Invasion, how the entire title sequence is used with AI generated artwork and material. So it's very greedy, very fucked up, because they're taking steps to decrease costs that affect their writers, their writers, their actors, and they need these people to make they need these people to make content and to make good content, because they wouldn't be able to produce, they wouldn't be able to make money if it wasn't for the writers and the actors putting in the time, the labor, the effort to produce their content to put on their platforms. It's fucked up. And yeah, so I'm gonna transition a little bit to because some of the recent stuff, because obviously once the actors the strike happened. And also shout out to Fran Drescher, who people don't know is the nanny. I didn't know she was the president of SAG-AFTRA of SAG-AFTRA. I didn't know that as well. So that's kind of wild that she's the one leading the charge here. But yeah, obviously we in terms of promotion now, because obviously Barbie just came out, and Barbie and Oppenheimer just came out. Barbie had their their various premieres they were doing. They just had to cut those because the actors aren't allowed to do any promotion for films that that are being produced by these various production companies. I think Oppenheimer just had their world premiere a couple of days ago, and they all, once SAG announced it, they all had to walk off. They all decided to walk off in solidarity, which I thought was pretty amazing. But also, this is also going to be affecting, obviously we talk about Deadpool 3. Now they already having issues because of the writer's strike. Now the actor strike is in play. They had to stop production. And a lot of films have stopped production because actors aren't allowed to, to act pretty much in these productions. Blue Beetle, people who haven't talked about the Blue Beetle's be coming out, obviously next month in August. They had to literally stop promotion for it because of the actor strike. So there's little to no promotion. The only promotion I saw, that I saw on their press junction that they did was you had Sholo Marduena, shout out to him, our boy, our Lord and Savior, our future generator Rex, which I hope that happens. Was on Sway in the Morning, and that was the only promotion I saw him do right before the writer's strike happened. And he obviously went on social media to talk about how they had to stop doing the press junking. But yeah, it's kind of wild. It's I don't know your thoughts on the actors and in terms of press, in terms of the press junket for these upcoming films. I don't know what your thoughts on that.
I mean, I think it's great that they're standing in solidarity. I do feel a little bad for Blue Beetle and other films that are coming out that probably are going to do way worse than I already would have, just because they're not getting the word out. But that's just kind of an unfortunate side effect of this,
I gotcha. Seamus?
It's simple as just pay your fucking writers. Just pay your fucking actors. Stop trying to have AI take everything over like it's the future, because obviously you're pissing everyone the fuck off. And it's so simple to just make sure everyone gets paid fairly and correctly.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seems like such a non-issue. It should be not such a non-issue, but obviously they are so greedy that they need to constantly be scraping at any extra millions that they could get, when in reality they should be focusing on how can we improve the industry, how can we make sure that this industry that is so far what everyone's saying is dying preserves. But instead they're like, no, how can we make more money before this industry completely collapses?
Yeah, especially quality over quantity too. Not just churning out as many TV shows, movies as possible that are most likely going to be shitty, and actually having the writers and the actors cook and actually try to make actual quality content for your streaming, for your platform, so people can actually have a motivation to subscribe to Netflix, to subscribe to Paramount Plus, to subscribe to Hulu, etc. So it's wild. But moral of the story is, people, for all the actors and the writers, because actually I know someone who's a SAG-AFTRA member who's striking right now. I know someone who's in the WGA striking right now. Power to you guys. I hope your demands are, these can come into a fair and realistic negotiation, in terms of your demands. And hopefully we can get things moving and rolling. But I'm just a little worried because that writer's strike, that happened in 2007, made a lot of shitty content So I'm gonna be curious now that while both unions are on strike, what's gonna be the aftermath when negotiations are settled. But yeah, but moral story is power to you, and the indie corner is supposed to be both unions for sure. So keep going, keep striking, and keep it moving. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. So just to move on to the next topic. All right, so we're getting to the fun stuff. All right, so y'all heard about a little movie that's been coming out that's in the works. Obviously, that's on hold now due to the writer strike and the actor strike. But a movie called Superman Legacy coming out. Superman Legacy. We did a little video talking about the James Gunn announcement, the whole slate that was like 2 months ago about the state of like his new slate of DCU films, which was a lot of fun. So people who haven't checked that video out. But yeah, Superman Legacy coming out. His first film. I believe that's his official start to the new DC universe. Obviously, we got some casting. A couple weeks ago, we got the official news that our official Superman and Lois Lane are going to be played by David Cornsweet and Rachel Brosnahan, who David Cornsweet, you've seen him from like the show Hollywood on Netflix and on X. No, I'm sorry, Pearl. That's on that the new Pearl film that came out for A24. And Rachel Brosnahan's known for the Marvelous Mrs. Maisel on Netflix. I'll say this just real quick thoughts on them. I saw David Cornsweet in Pearl, and I thought he was really good in it. And I could definitely see Superman in what I've seen him in that performance. Obviously James Gunn said he's going for a more younger Superman. Superman's gonna be in his early 30s, and obviously from what we talked about in that podcast that we did, and as well as him tweets and various interviews that I saw from him, especially the Inside of You podcast on Michael Rosenbaum, which again, if you haven't checked out that episode out of his interview with Michael Rosenbaum, check that out. But like also Superman's gonna be an influence, like Superman Birthright's gonna be an influence. So like I can kind of see that David Cornsweet, and I've seen clips of him from Mrs. Maisel, Marvelous Mrs. Maisel with Richard Brosnan. I love it. Like that's very snarky, very very ambitious, and you need that in the Lois Lane. Like I like my Lois Lane being very snarky, very direct. Especially when she steps to Lex Luthor a lot. I love that a lot. And also that contrast from that, that contrast and that chemistry she builds with Clark Kent, Superman. I think, I can definitely see that in Rachel Brosnahan. So what are your all thoughts on David Cornsweet and Rachel Brosnahan being cast as our Superman and our Lois Lane real quick?
I have no investment in this casting really, and I'm familiar with the names of the stuff they're in, but I haven't actually seen either of those, so I can't really go off their acting and judge them.
Okay, that's fair. All right, Seamus?
Yeah, I've been watching Mrs. Maisel the whole time, and as soon as I heard her, I was like, yeah, that's it. You know what I mean? Like I was like, this is exactly the type of shit that I needed for my Lois casting. And David Cornsweet, at first I thought when I saw him, I was like, is he one of those dudes that just looks like Superman that everyone's like, he should be Superman, you know what I mean? Because he got that jawline, and you're like, ah. Exactly. But then I saw clips of him and other stuff, and I was like, oh no, I see the vision. I get what people are saying.
Yeah. It's kind of wild because when that casting was officially announced, obviously we heard rumors that he was on like the running for a while. But like I remember when that casting was announced, and people were like, oh, they just casted a Henry Cavill lookalike, but like no, they didn't. Like they just, what Henry looks like? Superman. Henry Cavill looks like Superman. You know what David? And that means you just pretty much say that like he just has that Superman look. That's what David Cornsweet has. So I thought it was just dumb comments on that part. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing when we actually see more. Like I'm really looking forward to seeing like the first look photos of like him in the costume, and also as Rachel, as Lois Lane in her costume. Like I'm looking forward to seeing those first release photos. That's gonna be a lot of fun. So that's pretty much it for that. I just want to do that a little briefly. But the big news that came out also at the end of last week, which is why I want to talk about this. So we got your announcement that James Gunn casted 3 characters for this movie, and it's caught me off guard because I wasn't expecting there DC characters like other than Superman in this movie. Which again, I love the fact that for this case on Superman, the DC, they're already superheroes walking around in this DC universe. So I love that. Instead of having Superman just be the monolith, the first superhero in this universe, and it's gonna branch out to inspiring other heroes. I liked the more of he's already in a universe with superheroes. I love that. But the 3 castings that we got these three actually 4 characters got announced, right? So we're gonna be getting a Green Lantern, a Hawk Girl, and the big thing for me, a Mr. Terrific. Whew.
We did it, Joe.
Yo. So the casting for James Gunn's for these characters that James Gunn has chosen. So we're gonna be getting Nathan Fillion, and not only as Green Lantern, but as Guy Gardner, which is crazy. I was like, that's kind of wild. We're gonna be getting Wifey, aka Isabella Merced, playing Hawk Girl. And this for me, and Seamus already know. He already knows.
Yes, sir.
My boy, my guy, my nigga. I'm gonna use that word first. We're gonna get our boy Eddie Cathegi, aka Darwin from X-Men First Class.
I keep having to see him on Twitter every week.
Yeah, playing my boy Mr. Terrific. I lost it. I was done because I was saying this since obviously James Gunn's been he always tweets images, especially when he was announced to being the co-CEO of DC Studios, just releasing pictures, and I saw Mr. Terrific on there, and I was like, yo, if we're gonna get my boy Mr. Terrific in the DCU, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind because I love this character. I want to write this character. I want to work on this character one day in comics because I love him so much. But the fact that we got my boy Darwin, who was unceremoniously killed in X-Men First Class, this is redemption for me. This is complete redemption, and I'm so happy for Eddie Cathegi. He deserves it. He deserves it.
Listen, that was the point of his character, to show how strong Kevin Bacon was.
Oh, shut up.
Okay?
Man, fuck that. But yeah. What are your thoughts on these 3 initial castings? We're gonna go to the next one after this, but what are your thoughts on these?
I'll tell you my thoughts on X-Men First Class right now.
No, we're good. No.
I saw people. The one point I want to talk about is I saw people saying that Nathan Fillion was too old to play Guy Gardner.
No.
And their argument was before I agree with you, Mikey. Their argument was that they were like, "Well, this is a universe, so why would you cast someone so old to play Guy Gardner?" And I'm like, "How often do you want to be seeing Guy Gardner for the next couple of years? Because I sure don't want to be seeing him that often. His whole character is just he's a prick. That's it. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be seeing him in every movie, just showing up being like, all over my screen." But I was just like, so what if he cast? And they were also doing that thing where they're like, James Gunn nepotism. He's casting his friends.
Oh, who cares?
You're like, all right. Also, Nathan Fillion would be a great choice to play Guy Gardner because Nathan Fillion can play a bit of a dick. That's the point.
I just want to say one thing. I was dying. I saw a tweet about Nathan Fillion's casting, and it was the ginger side community real quiet today.
That is so true. That is so true. Watch, they're another black actor is gonna get cast as a ginger, and then all of a sudden they're gonna crop back up and be like, "Whoa!"
Yeah, and the thing is, I always get tight when people are just James Gunn is just casting his friends. It's kind of annoying. He can't just cast new actors. I'm like, listen, because
every director does that.
Grace Randolph said this shit, and I was like, Grace, shut up. Stop it. Because Quentin Tarantino has done it for years.
Quentin Tarantino, Martin Scorsese, Wes Anderson.
Scorsese does it. Come on. This isn't new. Come on. But yeah, no, Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, listen, I've said this before, I'm not really the biggest Guy Gardner fan. I like him in some stuff, especially obviously the new Human Target series that dropped. I loved him in that. But I'm not just oh yeah, I'm Guy Gardner has these 2 Nathan Fillion, so I don't care. I don't care. But initially though, I was when they said they casted Nathan Fillion as a Green Lantern, I thought it was Hal Jordan. Because at first I was yo, Nathan Fillion is Hal Jordan. I'm all for that because I actually really liked him as Hal Jordan in the DCAU stuff with the animated universe. So So that's what I thought was interesting. But the fact that he's got Garner and knowing what I've seen in Nathan Fillion, he can play an asshole. So I thought that was perfect. I don't really care much about the age because Nathan Fillion ages backwards anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, that's all my thoughts on that. What are your thoughts on Wifey as Hawk Girl? I don't know what your thoughts on that.
Do we know which hot girl she's playing, or are they just gonna keep it quiet?
I don't. That was the thing too. I was like, which hot girl is she playing? Shayera? Is she playing Kendra Saunders? Like, what's going on?
Where are we? What's going
where
on?
are we?
That's always the question. Is like, that's what makes me think James Gunn has to have a plan, because no way you would be like, yes, we're doing the Hawk people without like, because no one honestly wants to touch that without like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
No one's like, yeah.
Like,
I want to delve into that convoluted like mess of a character.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they did it in Black Adam.
Yeah, but they kept it quiet. You know what I mean? They never talked about his weird origins or whether or not he was from.
They also just they said, no, fuck Hawkman. We're just gonna like not tell anyone which Hawkman this is. We're just gonna make him Black Panther instead. So
yeah, exactly. Which is like, that's certainly a way to like, you know what I mean, skirt that horrific like mess of continuity. But like, if you're building out a universe, you kind of do need to be like, all right, I have to make a decision. Unless they want to do something similar and just make it completely different, but
which again, James Gunn must have a plan, and especially if he casts Isabella Merced, like she's only like, I think she's only like 22 years old. She's like, the most notable thing she's done is she was in the Dora the Explorer live action movie that I heard was really good.
That's yeah, I saw that and I was like, that's kind of hilarious.
Yeah, and I think I saw her in like Transformers, like one of the Mark Wahlberg ones. So not The Last Night, but no, it was The Last Night. Never mind.
Shit.
But yeah, listen, if he sees something in her, and obviously like I trust James Gunn, I'm all for it. I mean, listen, she's beautiful, and you have to cast someone who's like goddessly gorgeous as Hawk Girl. So I'm for it. But yeah, so I was just thoughts on that. So yeah, what are your thoughts on? I mean, I've already said enough, but like Eddie Kathegi as Mr. Terrific, man, I'm ready.
That's gonna be some good shit.
That's gonna be some good shit. The thing is, like, knowing James Gunn and obviously how comic accurate it is, because obviously, like, really appreciated how comic accurate he was with like the Suicide Squad. We're gonna see a comic accurate like Michael Curtis Holt, like third smartest person in DC universe.
Yes, sir. Pro wrestling fan.
Yeah, a pro wrestling fan, Olympian, like T-Spheres.
I mean,
like, I'm ready.
I mean, in the other casting, which I'm sure you'll get to, shows where they're kind of going with Mr. Terrific, which has me very excited.
I'm gonna talk about that shit. Like,
because I wanted the next one is what I'm frothing at the mouth.
Yeah, that's your thing. Hey, I'm frothing at the mouth at this, but also like I'm also kind of frothing at the mouth for the next one too. But yeah, we'll go into that. Rebecca, you have anything to say on Mr. Terrific at all? You're good?
I don't know that character, so I can't really speak on it.
I'll tell you this right now. Read him. Read anything he's in. He's great, and he's so underrated.
He's fun. He's very fun.
Obviously, what to transition, Seamus was what he was referring to. The big casting. This is the last embedded casting we're gonna get, because obviously with the actor strike, they can't do any promotion, so they can't do casting updates at all. But the last bit of casting that we got was my boy, my guy, Anthony Kerrigan, cast as none only than Metamorpho. I lost it. I was like, that's such great casting, because I'm a big fan of Anthony Kerrigan. Because I've heard he's great in Barry, and I will watch Barry at some point.
No, yeah, that's where I know him from, because me and Declan watched Barry together, and we were like, damn, yeah, like, he was great in Barry.
But that's why I hear his big remarks is that he's really good in Barry, and that's how he's getting a lot of spotlight from that show. But listen, he's my Victor Zsasz. I loved him as Victor Zsasz in Gotham. I thought he was fantastic.
Yeah, he was great as Zsasz too.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, listen, but the fact that like they're doing Metamorpho is great, and like I'm curious to see, because he's a really good character actor. So I'm very, very looking forward to seeing him as the character, and obviously like. I'm obviously going to be a CGI character unless they somehow make it practical. But
I think they could make him practical.
Granted, he has the alopecia, so like he already has like the.
That's what I'm saying. You don't cast Anthony Kerrigan unless you're using his body in some way that is in. You know what I mean? Like he already looks like a character. So like,
Exactly.
there's no reason why they would cast him and then be like, actually, you're gonna be like completely CG. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's why I think they're probably gonna at least do some like cool prosthetics and then make it CG, his powers at least.
Exactly.
Which
It's
would be
it's
cool.
kind of wild. But our the thing is, like, me and Seamus we're frothing a little bit. Obviously, we're frothing because the reason why like Metamorpho's in this along with Mr. Terrific, and like we know what James Gunn's doing. We know this man is cooking so hard. Like it's because Mr. Terrific and Metamorpho are on a very interesting team, right? Seamus, a very Fantastic Four adjacent team.
Yeah, I was gonna say something that is very familiar to casting rumors recently.
So people don't know. A few years ago, DC Rebirth had like a little line called the New Age of Heroes, where they pretty much was like, let's make a bunch of Marvel adjacent characters and see if they sell. So they had a character called Damage, who was the Hulk, pretty much, and a character called Sideways.
Sideways, we're getting sideways, Mikey. We're doing it.
But they had a nice little book that was pretty much their version of the Fantastic Four, known as the Terrifics, and that roster included Metamorpho, Plastic Man, Saturn Girl, and it was led by Mr. Terrific. And that book had no reason to be fire.
It was so confusing because they were like, "Here's Damage, kind of ass. Here's Sideways, fun, eh." And then they're like, "Here is the best Fantastic Four book you've read since like Jonathan Hickman's Fantastic Four." And I was like, holy shit.
They took advantage because they knew that was at the time where like they didn't have the rights back yet, and that was when Marvel Comics was not pushing out Fantastic Four books because they were out of spite. So they were like, the fact that they dropped this book during that bullshit, and it was good, and like, but then it's like, I don't think it sold very well. So, but yeah, the fact that James Gunn is going to potentially have the Terrifics as pretty much his Fantastic Four team is crazy to me. Like, that is insane. And again, this is why he's our Lord and Savior. Like, I'm ready for it. I'm ready. Like,
oh, it's gonna be.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited that we're getting Plastic Man at some point.
And I wonder who he's gonna cast for that. That's gonna be
tough. That's gonna be tough.
That's tough casting.
Just make it John Mulaney.
Honestly,
right?
I don't think so.
You see the vision.
I kind of see the vision there. But yeah, I don't know. Anyone else have anything to say on the Superman Legacy casting at all? Before we move on, nah. All right, so this one's gonna be like a little. We have a bunch of little like smaller topics, but one thing that I wanted to like touch light on that Marvel Comics just announced. Obviously, you know, we had the whole like, you know, Fallen Friend, Death of Miss Marvel comic drop. You know, obviously Miss Marvel being killed in the Amazing Spider-Man, which was bullshit and made no sense. But obviously they just revealed for prep for San Diego Comic-Con, hey guys, she's coming back.
Jesus Christ.
She's coming back, guys. Yay.
Can I Mikey, instead of talking about any of this bullshit, can I just review Ultimate Invasion #1 for me?
I would say yes, but no, we gotta get on topic. But here's the thing that I wanted to highlight though, like that not only Miss Marvel is coming back, clearly because it's comics, deaths don't last very long, but she's coming back as a mutant. And not only that, but our one and only the lovely, the talented Iman Vellani, who plays Miss Marvel in the Disney Plus television series, is co-writing this new book.
Which is the probably the most interesting thing they've done in a couple of years.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm interested to see, especially because she's so young, how she kind of handles a comic book, even if it's co-writing.
And the thing is, it kind of puts, even though listen, we did our Miss Marvel review. People watched Miss Marvel review with me and Rebecca. We had a good time. But I get a bad taste in the mouth because when I hear like young, like either actors or like either nepo babies that want to write comics. For instance, there was that J.J.
No,
Abrams,
I was going to say J.J. Abrams writing
that
Spider-Man
with his son, Henry Abrams, and it was pretty obvious because the book was so bad that you could tell, yeah, J.J. Abrams didn't write this book. It was just his son writing the book.
They wasted Sarah Patelli's art for like a year and a half, 2 years, and she was stuck on that book. Oh.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? Like, even though that's why it puts a bad taste in my mouth, but at the same time, obviously, Iman Vellani is a fan of the character. Obviously, she's playing her, and she's been a fan of the character like pretty much her nerdy life. So, and she's co-writing at least she's co-writing the book with another writer. So, maybe that could kind of.
Do you know who the other writer is? She's co-writing with.
I'm looking it up right now. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, it's official that they're making Miss Marvel a mutant. So this is pretty much like going to be another X book because the book is titled Miss Marvel: The New Mutant, and pretty much it's cementing that the Inhumans are dead.
Yeah, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, which is kind of funny, and yeah, it's kind of wild. But yeah, so the book is being it's co-written. It's being written by Iman Vellani and co-written by Sabir Prasada, which I've never heard. I've never really heard of this before, and yeah, it's pretty much gonna be an upcoming like thing like right after. It's gonna be a 4-issue limited series that's taking place right after the Hellfire Gala event that's happening. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And I haven't really dropped it here, but they announced like a bunch of covers. They had brought a lot of variant covers that are homages to various X-Men and Miss Marvel titles in the past. Like I call it covers. So yeah. I mean, I don't really got anything else to say on that. I mean,
I was gonna say because I was gonna you blocked out time for me to give out about Spider-Man later, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll say that. I don't know. If they're not changing her powers, I'm not going to be mad. Exactly, which they're not. So I can't really be mad about it because I'm mad about it for different reasons that we will talk about later. But it's just like they're just reclassifying the character because no one wants to use Inhumans, which is valid. And I'm like, I'm not going to yell at anyone for being like, I really don't want to use Inhumans or have Miss Marvel interact with the Inhumans, so she's an X-Men now. Sure. Mm-hmm. And Iman Vellani has been like, she seems to have, based on her interview, like based on interviews I've read of her and seen of her, she has a pretty good grasp on like her character and like the essence of what like comic books should be and like you know what continuity is and what canon is. So that's why it's like if she's like writing it with someone else, I'm gonna be kind of excited to see what she has to do, you know.
Exactly. And listen, if it goes well and then like you know the series goes well, like potentially maybe she can write other books in the future, which I mean I want for her, obviously.
Which would be sick. Cool. Yeah. Have someone who actually gives a shit about any of this do anything.
Have someone in Marvel Comics actually cares about Marvel Comics, right?
Like who do we got left? Like Donny Cates. It has like one more issue of Daredevil before he stops giving a shit, and Chip Zdarsky's doing his best. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like Jonathan Hickman just packed up and was like, "See ya, I'm writing Ultimate shit now." You know
I mean? Man, it's kind of wild. But Rebecca, what are your thoughts on you know Iman Vellani? Like, do you have hope for like the series being successful? Like, what's the deal?
Realistically, you know, Miss Marvel does pretty well. It's not going to be like a Spider-Man in terms of success or anything.
Well, is Spider-Man the barometer for successful nowadays?
Well, I mean, in terms of Marvel, I still think it's like still their like #1 book right now, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
Let me talk shit about Spider-Man for a minute.
I will for a second, but I think I don't know how many people are gonna come from the movie for this. I mean, it seems like with making her a mutant, they're trying to do like you know corporate synergy, all that kind of stuff.
Pretty much.
Which is fine. If you know, I kind of expected that. Yeah, I think for the Miss Marvel fans, this is definitely a book to give a chance. But like I said, I don't know how many new people it's gonna realistically drag into this. You know?
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, yeah, comics as an industry now are is less of getting new people in and more of keeping people from leaving.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm probably gonna at least check out the first issue just to see how it is because I'm.
Yeah, so will I. I'm gonna give it a chance. You know, like I'm gonna give it a chance, but yeah, I don't really know. I don't really know if I'll stick with the book or not, but yeah, we'll see. I'm trying to pull up cause I really do want to show these I love these variant covers that they drop for it, like because they're doing homages from classic like Miss Marvel like titles as well as X-Men. But yeah, like that's obviously from Miss Marvel #1, the classic like mutants X-Men #1, what I think is really cool. The new X-Men stuff with Grant Morrison, that cover. I think it's really cool that they're doing this. Like, really
it's cute. It's cute. I'll give it that.
But yeah, I got nothing really else to say. So yeah, we'll just move on to the next topic. But yeah, so this one is I kind of added this one on because this was a surprise to me. But yo, all right. So obviously me and Seamus. Not really Rebecca, but this goes for me and Seamus. But
so obviously what usually happens on this podcast.
Seamus, what is our favorite comic book of all time?
What is it? I feel like I'm gonna get this wrong, and then you're gonna hit me.
Yeah. It's Daredevil.
It's Daredevil. We've been talking about Daredevil every month for the past 2 years.
But there's a comic that has a show right now that is my favorite of all time comic, but also you love his comic.
Are you going to talk about the video game announcement thing?
Oh no! I'm not talking about the video game, but no, we're going to be talking about. So they dropped a new poster for Invincible season 2.
They did. I thought you were going to talk about the video game announcement.
Oh no! Everyone's
so pissed yesterday. Did you see that?
I'm going to play that game, but I didn't want to play that game, but nah, the poster's more important. But yeah, I'm just going to briefly talk about this. So they dropped a poster because I'll be sending you Comic-Con. They dropped this cool poster for Invincible season 2, and pretty simple. It's them like on a bus. But I think it's like very funny. It's them on a bus with the characters we got from the last show, as well as some new characters that's going to be showing up in the series.
Yes, sir.
I can't wait, okay? Because in the teaser that they dropped with Alan and Mark in that diner, we saw a little character who might potentially be like the villain for this season. A little
I
character.
See him. I see his big head from here.
Honestly, right? Like so one of the big things that they're going to be doing is obviously the big villain for this season here. Hopefully it zooms in. Oh yeah, it does. But yeah, so we're getting a little bit of some Angstrom Levy, over here.
I like how all the comic readers are like, "Oh my god, it's him," and everyone's like, "That's a glowing black man. What the hell?"
Yeah,
like that's just a guy.
But so we're gonna get a little bit of some Angstrom Levy here, and I see him over here. And I think we see multiple versions of him.
Yeah,
so there's one over here. There's one in this corner here. Like It's just like that's so smart, and I love it. But yeah, obviously, like we're gonna be getting some. Obviously, we're gonna get some Alan in there. We're gonna be getting some, Mark, some Adam Eve. All the current characters from last season come back from the comics. But also, here's the thing: I'm excited for, right? Because I see some Shapesmith in there, and Shapesmith is a character through later on in the comics who I love. I love Shapesmith a lot. We also see some. I see a little bit of a little Sequid over there. A little Sequid.
Yeah, I love the Sequid art. I feel like a lot of people are like a little more lukewarm on it, but I like the Sequid art.
Yeah, so the Sequid art is that was teased at the end of the last season, and we also covered it on the Indie Corner back on the Students of S.H.I.E.L.D., so that's a little plug there. But the big thing for me, Seamus, I don't know about you, but it looks like we're getting some of my boy Bulletproof in here.
Yep, I saw him. I saw him he was right up front. I was like, yo.
I really didn't expect us to get Bulletproof this soon.
Well, yeah, I was going to say that. It seems based off it's so funny, just based off this singular poster, I'm already understanding how they're rearranging things. And it makes me kind of excited to see like, oh, cool, Bulletproof's here at this time instead of way later. You know what I mean?
Exactly, right? Yeah, it's good stuff. But dude, and I think this thing, right? Me personally, because they got I was about to fuck it up. They got my boy Oscar Award winning actor Mahershala Big Hirsch Ali to be Titan. Know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I really my pick for Bulletproof, bro. I mean, it's a pretty generic pick, but because when I read Bulletproof in my head, I always think of this actor. I really hope it's Michael B. Jordan as Bulletproof.
Yeah,
I will. That just works for me.
It'd be cool.
That'd be great.
Really cool.
And fuck it, John Mulaney as Shapesmith.
John Mulaney as every kind of stretchy, shape-shifting character because he has a funny little voice.
But yeah, but yeah. Overall, though, I'm obviously I'm as an Invincible fanboy. I'm extremely excited. We're gonna cover this season when it comes out. Hopefully, I think it still says coming soon on the poster, which sucks, but I know it's gonna be by the end of this year.
I was gonna say, I feel like I'm hoping it's October. I feel like it's probably gonna be more like November, December.
Mm-hmm.
They said like fall, or they said second, like last half of 2023, and I'm like, they're not saying because they're still doing it. They're still working on it right now.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, man. Rebecca, have you watched Invincible? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
It's good. I don't think I've seen the whole show, but I've seen like I think everything but the middle section for some reason.
I got it.
But just watching it with different people. But yeah, it's a good show.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I'm excited. And now obviously because me and Seamus read the comics, so now they already did the intro stuff, so now they're gonna start getting into the nitty gritty. And
I'm excited that they are doing, because as much as I like Angstrom Levy's arcs in the comics, I like that they're they're containing it mostly to this season. Because I feel like the story would flow better if Angstrom Levy's entire arc was just one bit. You know what I mean? Because I like how he comes back later. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
When he comes back later and he does that thing to Eve that's like insanely like holy shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
But I hope it's all like this season, and then maybe because like I don't know, his arc has a pretty definitive end. It's I already am seeing it on Twitter because it's already been a meme and people don't know it yet. But
yeah,
yeah,
but I mean, hopefully, because we already know that like season 3 is already confirmed. It's probably already in the works. Probably did both seasons back to back. But I best believe that like I do think we're gonna get Invincible War starting season 3. It has to be.
And then Invincible War gets to end with. Do you think they're gonna? I think they're gonna end at least season 3 with the Conquest fight.
Dude, honestly,
because that's like the best place to end it is where season is the same place where season 1 ended, but like in a different. You know what I mean? Like
exactly, yeah.
Where Conquest pulls up with his gold gauntlet and is like, "You motherfucker,
this fucking guy,"
and just absolutely puts Mark through a wall. I can't wait to see. This is going to be a little bit of spoilers, but a certain character that is related to Mark in a way. He's this season. That whole thing is this season too.
Yeah, yo, Christian's gonna be pissed because Christian hates that character. Christian has a hatred for fucking. I'm gonna say it, I don't care. Oliver Grayson. He does not like Oliver Grayson at all, just for the fact that he's purple. I think it's so funny.
Yeah, but like he's not purple later, and like he's annoying because he's an 8-year-old kid. Like that's the point. And then like when he's like 27, it's like okay because he's an adult.
For people who haven't watched our Invincible podcast from Swing the Shield, the running joke was that Christian just hated Oliver just for the fact that he was purple. He was just it was so funny, and he carried it through like most of the entire like podcast. So, but yeah, so that's all I gotta say on it. I'm excited, and obviously, hopefully, we're gonna get more announcements throughout Comic-Con because I think that was just a teaser for preview night. But yeah, just to move on. So now we're gonna get this is actually. This is also a surprise thing I added for the podcast because I just saw it when I was at work today. But so apparently, people, yeah, buddy, they at San Diego Comic-Con. Obviously, we mentioned it's happening. All right, obviously, like they're showing off some games as well.
Yes, sir. I was watching this at dinner. I was at dinner with my family, and I was like, "Hold on, wait a moment."
They dropped a story trailer to be in fact, for Spider-Man 2. And I was just like, ooh. So I figured because I haven't seen it yet because I was at work. Rebecca, have you seen the trailer at all?
No, I was also at work.
So
Boom,
if y'all
you
don't
guys having jobs.
Yeah, so if y'all don't mind, we're gonna probably just do a little quick reaction, just to get our thoughts on, just get our immediate thoughts on it. So I'll just set that up real quick, and yeah, people, then we'll just get right into it. So Spider-Man 2 story trailer, let's get it.
A lot's happened in the last 10 years.
Ooh.
It's a miracle I'm sitting here now. I got a second chance.
Oh shit, Harry,
And I'm going to
He's
take
back from
advantage,
Europe.
Jane DeHaan.
but I need you with me. You're going to heal the world.
Oh, he's Venom.
Oh, 100%.
That fucking.
Guys,
Wow.
this is my best friend Harry. Hey, good to meet you.
Yo, Miles with the
job,
cut. Yo,
Still gonna have time for tutoring?
with the twist.
Figure it out.
Miles,
Raven.
I didn't know there were bears in these woods. Hey, MJ, I have another name for you.
Ooh.
Craven. He's here on some kind of hunt.
You know, if you need me, I'm just a call away.
Hey, you don't know what you took from me.
Oh,
Martin Lee
shit.
looked,
All
Martin
Miles
Lee
talks
looked
about
fucked
is
up.
how to be a better Spider-Man. How to help you.
What the hell's going on with me?
He's not himself. Go help him.
This was our dream. I'm not going to lose him.
We're going to heal the world.
Wow. All right, people. So Rebecca, I'm gonna go with you first. Off rip. What do you think?
I think it looks interesting. I feel like for a story trailer, we didn't get as much story as I would expect, which is fine because that's why you're playing the game. I still have to maybe invest in a PS5 to actually play this, but I'm looking forward to at least watching the gameplay movies when they get put on YouTube.
Yeah.
You watch gameplay movies? Gross. What the hell?
Listen. You gotta get the story, okay? If you get in the story, if you like the story and you get in the story, then I don't knock gameplay movies. I used to
We
watch
don't all
them.
have friends we can mooch their PS4s and 5s off.
No, I'm fine with like walkthroughs. Like I'll watch walkthroughs with no commentary. I just don't like watching just the cutscenes back to back. I hate that. So
I don't need like 4 hours of intercut like swinging through the city.
I don't need 4 hours of IGN critic gameplay. Don't know what to do.
The Seamus, offer it, man. I know you already saw this, but what do you think, man?
I saw this. I think it looks sick. Harry as Venom is a really cool idea.
Mm-hmm. Allegedly. Dude.
He said we're gonna keep. Venom said Harry's line. Okay, unless that's no, it couldn't be. Yeah, it couldn't be anyone else. I think that the Tony Todd is doing his Zoom voice as Venom, which is cool as shit.
Yeah.
Which that I love that shit. Tony Todd is always a great addition to any kind of voice cast. I like the idea that Pete's gonna go kind of crazy and Miles is gonna be the only Spider-Man left to like try to help anyone.
I love that concept too because
I love how I think they're doing a little bit of like a similar story where Pete's gonna get confronted by like like Harry, who's gonna be a bad guy, who or Pete's gonna get confronted by a bunch of shit that has hurt him in the past. And Miles is getting confronted by Mr. Negative,
who killed
his dad. And it's going to be really cool to see how like you definitely know that Miles is going to be the bigger man and be like, yeah, I forgive you, Miles. You know what I mean? Shit like that. And Pete's maybe with the black suit going to fucking kill someone. You know what I mean?
That would be the kind of a good contrast. That'd be a good contrast of like
That's what
Miles,
I'm
like
saying.
meets the man that killed his dad, and then like doesn't end up
And-
killing him, but yeah, Peter just murks somebody.
Yeah. And I think they're going to do with the thing where like Miles forgiving Mr. Negative is going to be what brings Peter back from being Venom. Or Miles is going to be, you know what I mean? Miles is going to remind him of what it means to be Spider-Man. Peter's going to come back, and they're going to do a swing through the city and then punch the shit out of Harry. And it's going to be
And here's the thing, right? Like, first of all, like obviously, like seeing like the gameplay that they dropped during the PlayStation Showcase like last month or 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Like they expanded the world, so we're gonna be going. Obviously, we're gonna have Manhattan. Like Manhattan's still gonna be a thing. We're also gonna be going to like Queens for the first time, and obviously like we're gonna have like this set piece here, like a carnival. It's gonna be really cool to swing through. And like
they have Brooklyn too.
And Brooklyn as well. So it's gonna be much bigger. Obviously, like there's gonna be more gameplay elements, like like the gliding and stuff like that too is gonna be a thing. Yo, the fact that my boy Miles got the twist, it's like that like I love that look. That like that's a new look for Miles. But also the fact that we're gonna have Kraven and his goons be one of the villains of the game, which makes sense. I think it's really cool. But yeah, gliding is gonna be a new like movement mechanic as well. I think it's gonna be really fun. And yeah, the whole switch back and forth between Miles and Peter, I think is gonna be really interesting. And yeah, man, this looks like a good time. And also like that black suit gameplay. Look at that. Right? Like it seems like that because I was actually surprised to see Harry. I thought that Harry was gonna be in that fucking tube the entire time.
Well, yeah, he was in the tube. That's where Venom came. This is probably showing the origin of Venom, and then Norman used Venom to heal Harry from his like whatever. My theory is that the actual reason that Harry was sick was that Norman was being a psycho and he tested the first batch of Goblin formula on Harry, and it almost killed him.
Oh wow!
And then he's like shit. So then he uses the symbiote to try to heal Harry. That's what I think is happening, because then because I think they've always said that they are gonna do Green Goblin at some point, and I feel like Green Goblin is the villain of the third game, would make a lot of sense and kind of go hard. But I feel like that would be a really that's what I've been feeling as my headcanon for what's going on. But I'm excited to see all the symbiote suits. They're gonna have alternate regular Spider-Man suits and then alternate symbiote suits.
So we're probably gonna get the classic like one from the comics and stuff like that.
Yeah, I hope you get a Matt Gargan Venom one. You get like you know what I mean?
Facts. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. But yeah, here's another look at. I'm trying to get a little look at the suit. Look at that close up there. That looks sick as fuck.
Yeah.
I said this off. I remember saying this before, but like I love the fact that like it just looks like it looks like it's not like the regular black suit like in the comics. It just looks like cloth. But it looks like actually like an organic living organism that just bonded to Peter's regular suit. Like, you can still see the texture of it, like the regular like advanced suit, but like the organic movement of it looks so good.
And I saw people talking about this the other day on Twitter, but they were like, it was whether or not they like it being a cloth suit or they like it being like just goo on his body. And I was like, I kind of like the Spider-Man, like this game's interpretation of his symbiote suit, that it looks like a goop that is trying to mimic a padded suit.
Exactly.
Which that looks really cool. And that makes a lot of sense.
We've never really seen before on a design, which is cool.
Yeah. And Venom was sick.
Venom was awesome. I was like, yo, it's Matt Gargan right there. It's Scorpion. It's Scorpion is Venom. But yeah, like obviously, like they're keeping under wraps like who the identity of Venom is, but like we all are probably thinking it's Harry. But like possibly that's not Harry too.
They specifically said it's not Eddie, and I was like, so it's probably gonna be Harry then. I saw people trying to be like, actually, it's Kraven.
Honestly, they could be doing some Last Hunt, like
they're trying to do Last Hunt and shit.
Like from Life Story,
from Spider-Man Life Story, where it hops from like person to person,
Yeah,
that'd be cool if it was hopping from us. You know what I mean? Like after it leaves Peter, it starts hopping to everyone. Like,
but the thing is, right? Like they could be pulling Spider-Man Life Story and doing like what if Kraven actually ended up being Venom? Like, you know.
Yeah, that's a cool story that only works in life stories.
Yeah, it does. But yeah, I got nothing else to say. But like, I'm very excited. Like the story, even though we didn't get much of the story, which is fine. It looks like it's gonna be a fun time. I'm really seeing like the cast of characters, how Harry fits in, because I really thought it was gonna be in that tube the whole time. The black suit stuff, like the conflict, like Miles is gonna have with Mr. Negative, and also Peter dealing with being like more brutal with the black suit, how that's gonna affect the relationship with MJ and all that. Yeah, I think it's gonna be a good time. I'm very excited. I got reminding me that I gotta get a PS5. Shit,
dude. You know what you can get now is they're going the pre-order start next week. They're releasing a limited edition Spider-Man PS5.
Oh,
that,
really?
It's like Spider-Man and Venom designed. It looks really cool.
That's sick. But yeah, October 20th, 2023. That's literally like in the next like couple months, like, which is crazy. But yeah, I got nothing really else to say. But I'm excited. So we'll just move on to the next topic. This one's gonna be like another small one because I didn't get a chance to see this, but I believe Rebecca and Seamus, you have, hopefully. But yeah, the next topic is going to be just a little review on a little like small show that just came out, a small anime of a popular DC character, the My Adventures of Superman. This anime that's on Adult Swim starring Jack Quaid as Superman. I didn't get a chance to watch it, unfortunately, for this podcast. But Rebecca, you mentioned you watched the first episode. I believe you got that. I believe you said you watched.
Yeah, while I was waiting to start this podcast to put the first episode on.
Okay, so and Seamus, have you watched it?
Yeah, I've seen the first 3 episodes.
Yeah, this could be a little quick one. But yeah, what are your thoughts on My Adventures of Superman? But from what I've seen, it looks really fun and like really cute.
So, like I said, I've just seen the first episode. I'll just go real fast. I thought it was cute. I think it's really cool that it's on Adult Swim, but at the same time, at least from the first episode, I don't really feel like this is an Adult Swim show. It feels like it was made for like teens, like somewhere between like normal Cartoon Network and Adult Swim. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't think it's quite adult enough for Adult Swim, but I think it's also like kids might find it a little boring because it is a little more slice of life. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it seems cute.
Okay. Seamus?
It's been one of my favorite pieces of Superman media in like a long time. It's really fun. It's just like a solid. I feel like it's mostly because it's been so long since you've just gotten a regular Superman, program or comic or anything where it's like it's just Superman. Superman. That's what you're getting. And so far, everything's been done really solid. I love Lois. I love there's this cute running gag with Jimmy Olsen where he's a conspiracy theorist, but everything he says is a reference to like a you know what I mean, like another comic character or something like that. Like I forget if it was in the first or second episode, but he makes a reference to some shit's going on, and he makes a reference to actually I think this is caused by a intergalactic starfish that controls people's minds. And I was like, oh, that's cute. Or like he will be like, actually, I think this is caused by Atlanteans that actually live in the ocean. And he'll make references and shit like that. It's really cute. The problem that I saw people having was they made Deathstroke into a twink.
What?
He's like a 24-year-old hot dude. It's kind of weird, but I kind of fuck with it because
it's kind of funny though.
It's like young Deathstroke who hasn't lost his eye yet or anything, and I feel like
we should add. Sorry to interrupt you, Seamus. This isn't like an established Superman or Lois. Everyone is like interns in this. Like it's all their kind of like coming of age origin.
Oh, so they're all like interns at the Daily Planet. Like that's
that's like funny. The first episode is Superman's first day interning at the Daily Planet, and Lois has only been an intern for a year longer than him, so that's why she has seniority.
Oh, okay. All right.
And they are, and Lois and Jimmy and Clark, by extension, are trying to use the Superman story to try to get full-time jobs at the Daily Planet. Superman. It's very well done. I do think you should watch it. It's well worth the watch. They've already done like cool Superman. They've already done Banshee. They've already done Livewire. They so far everyone is very tech based, which is a little like, you know what I mean. I could take your leave. I normally like people to just have superpowers in a superhero show, but I don't know. I don't mind it. It seems cool.
Okay. I mean, the
Yeah.
only thing that I've seen clips of this show is the fact that this man fucking transforms into Superman like a fucking Sailor Moon transformation. I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, that's great. That's his first transformation. He does the Sailor Moon one. He's like, I must go help people, and I was like, oh my god,
that was amazing. But yeah, I mean, I'm gonna check it out. I mean, I think it's premiering on Adult Swim, but also shows up on HBO Max, right?
Yeah, it's Adult Swim.
Okay.
It shows up on HBO Max like the morning after it airs on Adult Swim. So.
Okay, gotcha. But yeah, from what this sounds like, I'm probably might watch an episode like before I go to bed tonight.
Yeah, it feels like a ever so slightly. It feels like if you took Superman the animated series from the '90s and gave it a little more anime influence.
Okay, sick. All right, yeah, that sounds a lot of fun. But and also like, how's Jack Quaid as Superman? Like, that's my last point I want to make.
I love him. He's great as Superman. He's better than I thought he'd be as Superman.
I just find it weird that like Huey from The Boys is voicing Superman. Like
and
what?
He plays a better Superman than I think Anthony Starr would.
I mean, true. But yeah, I mean, is anyone else? I don't really have much to say. I haven't watched it, but I'm gonna watch it. Fuck, I'm gonna watch it after we don't hear it because I'm gonna. This sounds like a lot of fun. It sounds like a lot of fun. It's very exciting. How many episodes are out?
I think 3 right now, maybe 4 because I think it airs tonight.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right, so is that it? Any other thoughts on My Adventure Superman before we move on to the last two, the two big topics?
Sir, move on.
All right. So obviously, people. So we're gonna move on to the last two bits. So obviously, people haven't realized we planned on doing a Flash review at some point, but it just didn't happen because we just didn't watch the movie. And obviously, like we plan. I want to do a Guardians Volume 3 review as well, but it was my fault because I just didn't watch the movie. Everyone else did, but me. But yeah. So I decided since that as an alternative, I wanted to maybe shoehorn. It's kind of like mini reviews for both the Flash and Guardians and shoot them at the end because I managed to watch both movies last night. Actually, no. Technically, I watched Flash the week before with Rebecca and Christian. We had a little movie night, but we watched it when it was in not so great quality. We watched it all for the first
also
time.
dropped out like halfway through because we started way too late and it was kind of boring.
Yeah, well, we'll get into it, but yeah. So we'll just start off with our review for the Flash. So yeah, obviously the Flash, the recent DC EU movie, one of the last ones that's coming out for this year. That is directed by Andy Muschietti and stars the criminal Ezra Miller, as well as Michael Keaton.
He's a wrestler.
The criminal. And obviously, Michael Keaton reprising his role as Batman. Ben Affleck reprising his role as Batman. Wifey, Sasha Calle debuting as Supergirl, and a various amount of other people. And this is was apparently supposed to be the reboot to set up James Gunn's DC universe, and it's apparently the greatest superhero movie to ever come out, like ever. So yeah, Rebecca and Christian and I, as well as Fletcher, watched this last week as like a casual movie night. We're not gonna say how we watched it, but we watched it. And here's the thing, just off rip, I'm not gonna really talk about all the controversy with Ezra Miller because one, we already did that in our Flash trailer reaction we did a couple months ago. And I don't want to really. I want to judge the movie on its own merit because all that stuff happened after the movie was filmed and all that stuff. So that's, let me say that off rip. I'm not gonna talk about the controversy and shit because that's been talked about already. But yeah. So just to start off, man. Yeah. So Rebecca. Okay, I'll actually let Rebecca start. So yeah, we watched this. In that standard quality. So I'm gonna let you go. So what did you think of the Flash when we watched it, Rebecca, last week?
I did not like it. I will say this. There wasn't as much Michael Keaton Batman in it, which I was surprised about. I thought they were going to rely on him a lot more in that movie. I also thought Sasha Kaye as Supergirl or Superwoman was really good in this. I wish they didn't. Spoiler alert! Kill her at
No,
the end.
spoiler away. This is spoiler review, guys. You had time to watch the movie.
I thought she was the best actor in that movie, and also like the most interesting character in that movie. So I'm kind of sad to see her go. Hopefully she comes back, but I'm not holding my breath on that. The scene at the beginning where Flash is saving a bunch of weird CGI babies is like kind of funny in a like so bad it's good way. I did kind of enjoy that, but the rest of the movie kind of boring, kind of nothing. Not worth all the overhype and years of waiting for this movie. And yeah, that's what I think of The Flash.
Okay. That's what I think of The Flash. Seamus, all right, bro. Well, what you saw this movie in theaters, correct?
I saw this movie in theaters. I saw
you paid money. All right.
Yeah, I was I was forced to see it on the Thursday night premiere because my girlfriend was coming in Friday and she said I do not want to fucking watch that movie at all. So I was like, all right, I'll see it then.
All right, then.
I came away from it rethinking my life choices and praying that there was anyone left who knows how to make a superhero movie because this was a very tough watch. I can't even compliment Sasha Kaye as Supergirl because she has maybe 5 lines in the movie and mostly stares pensively out at the horizon for the rest of it. I can't even. Ezra Miller doesn't play the Flash. He plays a weird, nebbish little class clown who hasn't grown out of his 8-year-old body. The fact that you were doing Flash of Two Worlds with Flashpoint and you couldn't have fucking got Grant Gustin to be the other Flash, and I had to watch 2 Ezra Millers stare at each other and make the same dumb jokes the whole time. I have so many. Michael Keaton could not give less of a shit in this movie. He was collecting that goddamn paycheck. God bless him. I hope he lives a long and happy life after this because I'm sure this was tough to work on. Could not tell you the rationale behind trying to hand Andy Muschietti the Batman Brave and the Bold after this, given that opening Ben Affleck Batman sequence was one of the worst Batman sequences I've ever seen. At the very least, Batman and Robin looked gothic and had some kind of style to it, whereas this was a bunch of gray concrete and Batman was kind of flying around, which is probably the biggest compliment I can give this is Batman gliding looked cool. That's it. You know what I mean? It's just, it was such a, I don't even want to get into the cameos because the cameos were so, it was like someone heard everyone's complaint about superhero cameos and was like, oh, we'll keep doing that. Oh, what? We're going to bring back George Reeve, an actor who famously died due to the Superman role that he felt he was typecast in. Yeah, let's bring his ghost back to be in this movie for 2 seconds. So Ezra Miller can look and go, oh. It was just the only thing I can give it also is that Ben Affleck's Batman had probably the best exit of any comic book character. When he got in it was almost like they just filmed Ben Affleck leaving the set. They asked him to stay, and he just goes no, and he gets in his Lamborghini and just slowly drives away.
That's funny. Yeah, that's all we see of him too, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, and George Clooney made me giggle for a split second because I was like, oh, that's funny. But that's it. That's like the best. Like if George Clooney was the only cameo, I'd be like, greatest use of a comic book cameo ever. To just have Flash come back and be like, oh, he's in Batman and Robin world. And then that's it. And then you're like, oh, all right, cool. I can laugh at that. But it was just such a rough goddamn movie. I didn't even feel like I was watching The Flash. It felt like I was watching a different character with speed powers. I fucking hate the way Ezra Miller runs. I don't care that they made a joke about it in the movie. It still looks dumb as shit. I I hate everything about this movie. I just hate almost. I walked away from it like actually mad, and I don't usually do that at movies. I usually just go, "It was ass." But I walked away from this one actually like sad that it was this bad. That my third favorite comic book character, the Flash, got done this dirty.
Yeah.
Oh,
I honestly wasn't expecting you to be as passionate about that as you were.
That's what I'm saying. I'm also shocked here too.
I'm so passionate about it because I was like, it was like the. I wasn't even. That's also the thing. I don't know why I'm this passionate about it because I came in with no expectations because I was like, no way, it's the best superhero movie. I don't believe you, Tom Cruise. They paid you to say that, you know. I don't know. It was just like I think it was just because I was so offended at how bad it was. I was just so offended at all the shit they tried to do to make you like the movie, and it just ended up making me hate the movie even more. I didn't give a shit. I didn't care that they referenced Superman Lives with Nicolas Cage. I don't give a fuck. That's like a reference for like 5 people, and I'm one of them, and I fucking hated it. You know, it was just like the only the only other good
You're gonna make Mikey feel like a clown in a minute.
And the only other thing that I also enjoyed was this is also a deep cut that is just for me. If you have visited the Arkham subreddit in the last year, you will know that there is a character they have created called Man, and it's just Batman with no ears. And in one of the shots in this movie, Adam West has no ears. And so on the Arkham subreddit, they lit up when the Flash dropped because they were like, man cameo in the Flash, man cameo in the Flash.
Oh my god.
And it's just pictures of Adam West Batman with no ears. And they're like, what universe do you think Man is in? And that is the only kind of joy I got for this movie. I'm just, I think I'm also so mad because I know this dude is directing Batman the Brave and the Bold. I do not want him to at all.
All right. Well. All right. How much you stop?
Don't say you liked it.
Listen. I can't even hear you right now because you're all muffled. So thank God. But yeah. Hold on. Yeah. But word. So for me, as I said, we watched it. We didn't watch it in good quality, and I'll give it to its benefit because I watched it in such bad quality. And decent quality, I wasn't really paying attention, and plus I could overhear Christian and Rebecca, so my like ADD went haywire. I was not paying attention to it at all. I tried, and when the movie was done, I just left it confused, and I was like, "What just happened?" Like I was lost, and also, but when I got the feeling, I was like, "But here's one thing I will take away from watching this movie: I really just wish they just did like." Accurate Flashpoint instead of just combining all these concepts and just making it into a movie. Like it felt too jumbled to me. But when I watched it again last night in proper quality this time, I won't say how. I will say this. I liked it a lot better my second time watching it because I could actually pay attention and understand what was going on. But is the movie good? No. Like is it amazing? No, for me it was just mid.
That's the thing. I like the mid because it's so. It would have been mid 5 years ago. That's what I have to say. If this movie came out 5 years ago, I would have been like, that's mid. But the fact that we are like almost 15 years deep into superhero movies, and you come out swinging with that kind of bullshit, you better fucking pack your shit up because you are not going to last much longer. I can see why they hired James Gunn right after this movie finished filming because they were like, well, if this comes out and we don't have a plan forward, then we're fucked because it's this and then Blue Beetle, which has been like people have been like, oh, it's actually not bad. And then Aquaman 2, which has had maybe one of the quietest yet worst development cycles I've ever seen from a movie. They're fucked.
I mean,
I think Blue Beetle is going to bomb. Between the lack of marketing and just being like a deeper cut to the general public, I think it's gonna bomb.
Financially, I'm not saying it's gonna do well, but I'm saying it's gonna be at least like a movie that you can watch and somewhat enjoy. It's not gonna be like this where you have to see Ezra Miller every fucking minute.
I just thought the movie was mid. Like I do like the idea, like the concept where like the whole like like there's only one like like some problems that have a solution. Like I kind of liked that like theme they were going with, especially like towards the end where like where other Barry turns into Ezra Miller and like tries to stop like Supergirl and Batman from dying and realize he can't change anything because of the inevitable intersection. I like that a lot actually. I thought that was well done. But just like I think this movie tonally was just a mess. Like it was just like it was shifting between serious and comedy, and like it was just I didn't think the comedy really worked that well. Like Rebecca said, that beginning with like him saving all those babies was just like ridiculous, and I was like, a little too hammy for my taste. Ben Affleck coming back as Batman again. Love Ben Affleck as Batman. I thought it was all right. I didn't think it was too amazing, but I was just happy to see him. Wonder Woman coming, I thought was cool too. Iris coming, I thought was nice. But yeah, the whole idea of just like, Barry coming back, like, well, I thought it was Barry just going back in time, and then like I thought he was gonna end up in the present, and there was just another Barry there. But I did like the fact that when he went back in time, like this mysterious entity in the Speed Force knocked him a couple years earlier. So that's why that's why he interacted with his younger self. That was cool. But that other Barry I couldn't stand. What annoying as shit. I couldn't do it. Like pissed me off every time I saw him on screen. But I didn't like him when he like actually turned into Ezra Miller and just became a menace. I like that a lot.
But you liked it because of the meta.
Yeah, because it was meta.
Narrative that Ezra Miller is now evil.
Yeah.
Okay, I have another question. Why? Because that entity was the other Ezra Miller. You know what I mean? So then, how did he get there to push Barry out of his Speed Force?
I don't know.
Don't worry about it.
How the fuck? Yeah, I'm gonna fucking worry about it. If this dude directed Batman, and then he's gonna start throwing don't worry about it to fucking anything.
Yeah. I don't know. It was just weird. The thing is like the middle of the movie actually like was digging because I did really enjoy. I liked Michael Keaton's Batman, even though he was only there to get a check. But I thought like the scenes that we got of him were really good. Were really cool. Wifey as Supergirl, Sasha Kaya, I want more of you. Like, I even though I feel like I didn't get enough of her in this movie, which sucks. But like, I really do hope that Warner Brothers consider maybe putting her in the main DC universe. I thought she did a good job of what she was given for sure, and also like the fact that
I don't even think my thing
was that she wasn't given enough to even judge it because she was like had like 4 fucking lines, which is insane. The fact that she was the centerpiece of the marketing and she had 4 goddamn lines, and you're like,
but
what the hell?
I did, and Seamus, you sound a lot better here. So I don't know what you did, but
I walked around.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, I did like the fact that like this was more of like more of the rage aspect of Supergirl, which actually I like that a lot in the Supergirl character. So I love the fact that she was fucking sawed up. I love that she was like fucking sawed up for a while. I thought that was really cool. Like that end scene where they're like it's the final fight. That was really good for the most part. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like. What pissed me off about the Flash a lot, this really got really mad, was the ending. That the fact that like we obviously know that James gonna wanted to do some reshoots to acclimate more of it to be like a reset to his DC universe. How the hell does like the reveal that George Clooney is Batman is Batman in this new timeline make any sense of it being a reset for the new DCU? It makes no sense.
It's not a movie.
That they're not going to touch any of this shit again, so don't worry.
Yeah. Mikey. This isn't directly like leading into like George Clooney is not going to tie into Batman: Brave and the Bold. This wasn't a reset for the DCU. This was just like a.
No, I know it isn't, but like I was expecting at least something to make it like tie into like a somewhat reset or a soft reboot. But like,
you didn't get your end credit.
The entire point of the ending was like, now that we have George Clooney and the Snyder like Justice League is existing in the same universe. Now we have a reason to never touch that because George Clooney is never coming back as Batman. So we have no reason to visit those characters again. So we essentially quarantined the entire Snyderverse into its own thing that we can never touch again. And I think that is exactly what the ending was them being like, cool, now we never have to talk about this shit again.
Honestly,
wait, Mikey, question.
What's up?
Did you get to see what the end credit was actually supposed to be now that it was presumably in English this time?
It was in English this time. Yeah.
I thought the end credit scene was kind of funny, but I was like,
it was
like, that was fun. Like,
cool. So the end credit scene was literally just like, it was just Barry trying to fix, like talking to Arthur about like every time I try to fix this shit, there's just a different Batman. So like it's pretty much inevitable. We can't really fix anything. And then it was kind of funny. Yeah, it kind of goes to what Seamus said. It was just like a quarantine and be like, yeah, we can never touch this again and let's just move on. But yeah, I mean, overall though, I mean, I there are parts of this movie I actually like genuinely really do like, and I was. But like, I'm sorry, but it's the truth. I'm not gonna lie to you. There are parts of the movie I actually like really do like, but there's parts that like I thought were just a mess, and there's parts where I was like, this is just bad. Like I'm just but overall to me, it was just it's mid for me. Like I'm just like it's just it's an movie. But I really do wish that like I was curious to see like what they were actually gonna originally plan to do with the Flash movie before doing this shit, and like that was the vibe I was getting the whole time when I watched it the first time and this time. So
from what I understand, I think the movie was large. I mean, it's hard to say because it was kind of in production hell for a while.
It was.
But from what I understand, it was largely the same, except we ended back with like Batfleck, you know.
Yeah, it was gonna be Batfleck and
Supergirl lives, I think, in that alternate version.
I don't know how the fuck you could do Flashpoint and not have the Reverse Flash in there.
Dude, and that's the thing because we got what's our boy who's in Game of Thrones that dumb and that's in that dumb cameo where he was eating pizza. That actor.
Yeah.
But like I looked at him when I watched him in that scene where like in this people for elaboration like the Flash younger Barry runs for the first time and steals a pizza from this actor. I forget his name. I'm gonna look it up right now. But like I looked at him, I was like, you would have been a great Reverse Flash, like a great Eobard Dawn.
The movie would have been saved if Barry came back to the present, and that's the reason he became the Reverse Flash, is because the Flash stole a slice of pizza from him that he was about to eat, and that was the day he just snapped. And I would have been like, holy shit, this movie's a 10 out of 10 again.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Reverse Flash was created by a slice of pizza. The movie saved. James Gunn, give it back to Zack Snyder.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Nicholas Coster-Waldau.
Yeah. He would have been cool.
He would have been a great Reverse Flash. The thing is like, but oh shit, Seamus dropped out. But yeah, I mean, I do think that like before all this, like what Snyder planned to originally do with the Flash was to do an actual accurate Flashpoint, and I would have rather have gotten that than this, even if it wasn't even like done very well.
I don't know about accurate Flashpoint. I don't think I fully buy that. because
I don't know, but yeah. Overall though, this movie it's literally like it's a 5 out of 10. It's literally like it's just mid for me. That's just I don't know. What do y'all rank the Flash out of 10? I know Shane was gonna give a -5, but
like a 3 or a 4. Like I'm not gonna watch this again. I don't have any want to watch this again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I didn't like it.
Yeah. Seamus, do I have enough to ask you, or like you want to just?
I give it a reverse 10.
A reverse 10.
I give it a reverse 10.
But I'm just gonna close it off by saying that like I'm happy that this movie's done and over with, so now we can actually move on to like. I mean, granted, we have Blue Beetle to worry about, which again we said may potentially bomb, unintentionally bomb, because I want this movie to succeed. Aquaman 2, I just heard today that like there's a bunch of freaking problems with that movie. In terms of like
you could have said that like 3 months ago and it would still been the same thing.
Yeah. But also just to note that this movie people already know, this is already news for a while, but this movie is pretty much considered to be one of the biggest box office like bombs for a superhero film. I think like it only made like 40 or like 50 million in its opening weekend, and it's like not made any that much money since. You can wonder why, because you can, because it's already on VOD pretty quickly. So but yeah, it's wild. It's this movie's. It just, the reception for this movie just so far has been mixed, but just like financially, it's just been, it made less money than Black Adam, which I didn't think was possible. I don't know.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and Shazam 2, I didn't think was possible. So, but yeah, man, that's all I gotta say. So we'll just move on to the final review, the better movie, clearly. But yeah. So obviously the other movie that I watched that everyone else watched, but I didn't get a chance to see because I waited because I didn't have time to go see it. Obviously is let me just flip the slides real quick. But another a James Gunn movie that was his last movie in the MCU, his last hurrah, and I'm gonna say it was a very successful hurrah and a very strong hurrah. But Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I'm gonna start.
Go get a prop for this, so let me be right back.
All right, I'm gonna start because I was late. I waited because I didn't get a chance to watch this movie when it was in theaters because I couldn't find the time. But got a chance to watch the movie last night. Not gonna say how I watched it, but I got a chance to watch it, and I'm gonna describe it with one word. One word. One. I think it's 4 letters. Yeah, one 4-letter word. This movie was perfect. Perfect. This is probably either top 10 or top 5. I think it's probably top 5 MCU movies for me, and probably top 10 favorite superhero movies of all time for me. I thought this movie was incredible from the way it is written, from the performances, from the way it was shot, from a filmmaking perspective. They're very, very, very like really creative, just like shots in this movie that like blew me away. Man, the movie made me cry. I cried watching this movie. Like I shed a couple tears. I'll start off rip. Rocket. This movie is Rocket's movie. He's like the main focus throughout the entirety of the film because the High Evolutionary is the main film and they do a good job of tying it into Rocket's character. And because in the comics, Rocket, they don't really go into Rocket's backstory that much in the comics, like where he actually comes from. In this movie, it makes sense because they tied it into High Evolutionary, which everyone knows he makes a lot of anthropomorphic creatures. The fact that he tied it into the High Evolutionary in this, I thought was phenomenal. An idea of like, trauma and, accepting your past and all that and trying to move forward from your traumatic past, I thought was really well done. That was amazing. I'm gonna start that off rip. Just like, so what are your thoughts on how they're handling a Rocket? Because I thought it was so good. I'm gonna say that just to start off.
All right. Well, first of all, I got my marketable plushie. My Cosmo.
Cosmo?
Best girl. Love her. Had to show that off a little bit because I spent like $30 at that impulse buy at Disneyland. But not specifically about Rocket. I just wanted to get some thoughts out. I wish we had done like a real review with this because when it was fresh in my mind, I probably have talked about this movie for like an hour, 2 hours straight. Like you said, Mikey, this is a great movie. I think this is James Gunn kind of peaking with his like stylistic choices. Like this is a very stylistically visually rich movie. The character writing is great with it. We'll talk about this later. Rocket's arc is amazing in this. The ending in this is perfect. When they play Dog Days by Florence and the Machine, I had to hold back the tears. It was really getting to me. Perfect use of the song. Yeah, I just really like this movie.
Yeah. Seamus, what are your thoughts on initial thoughts on Guardians?
Word for word what you both said. Literally word for word what Mikey said. This was the thing that after, like, because when James Gunn got announced for Superman, I was like, I don't know. Then I saw this and I was like, yeah, he's got that shit. He can do that shit easy. Yeah, I definitely agree with you that it is top 5 MCU, top 10 all time. I think that watching this and then watching The Flash a month later made me want to just stop watching all comic book media because I was like, I don't think from here on out it gets better than I don't think anything gets better than Guardians 3 except the Batman Part 2. I think the Batman Part 2.
Let me put it into perspective this way too. We had Guardians 3, we had Spider-Verse, then we had Shazam and The Flash.
Yeah. It's like Marvel knocks it out of the park 2 times in a row. DC once again shits their bed.
Yeah.
It's tough to see.
Yeah, it's wild. Just because like this kind of in terms of like Marvel movies, this kind of like gave me like a little bit. It gave a lot of people a lot of bit of a reset because like a little bit of hope, a little bit because obviously because but last year we got the infamously dog shit movie Thor: Love and Thunder, and I will always say that's one of my worst movies I've seen from the MCU. This like for a while. And also we got Ant-Man Quantumania, which we all thought was like blatantly average. A lot of people think it's a lot worse than average. Obviously we got Wakanda Forever, which again I love. I mean, I'm biased.
Wakanda was great. Wakanda was great, and I don't get why people don't talk about that more.
Yeah. But obviously this one, like this being just like this, what reminded me when I was watching, like wow, like you can just like just telling just not just like like because the other ones besides Wakanda Forever seemed very like they were just like churned out of like the MCU Kevin Feige machine. But this one seemed like no, it was someone who wanted not only to tell a great story, but also cared not only about the characters but the source material, and just churned out a really not just churned out, shaped and created a really well done movie that made me hope. Yeah, you could tell great stories with comic book characters. And it just like it was amazing. Like, and I'll get into it just in depth, but like love Star-Lord's arc as well. Like Star-Lord, being not coming off of like the events of Endgame and like dealing with Gamora's death and like his Gamora's death and not coming to terms with it and like his back and forth with Gamora in this movie, well with this version of Gamora. How she doesn't have her memories, obviously because she's time displaced. I thought was really well done, and the fact he had to accept the fact that like his Gamora is not gonna come. She can never like the Gamora that he fell in love with is gone and will never come back, and that fact that he can't acclimate this Gamora to what he wants her to be, I thought was really well done. Obviously we're gonna talk like Rocket in a second. But I thought that Mantis was really good. I thought that Drax was really good in terms of Drax. I kind of realized it in this movie, but like I thought that like Groot was like the heart of the film, but like throughout the entirety of like Guardians 1 and 2. But no, Drax is the heart of the movie throughout. Like this, and this kind of cemented that for me because I love the fact that Nebula kind of makes sense. Like like I kind of realized what you're like, who you are as a person. When we talk about the ending, but the fact that like Drax isn't, Drax's role isn't to be like the destroyer. Drax's role is to be a father, and I love how they cemented that as like his how they completed that with his arc in this movie, as well, and also just the small stuff with Kraglin and how he cement like the stuff with Yondu, how he wasn't really acclimated to like him not being very well known with getting with Yondu's tech. Reality was him not really sure if he can confident to fit Yondu's shoes, and because Yondu left a big mark on him and all the other Guardians. So I thought that was really an interesting thing with his arc as well. But yeah, I thought like everyone here got like a completion with their arc in this. I thought it was very well done. And also introduction of Adam Warlock, who people thought should have been introduced a long time ago, before Infinity War. But I remember, Seamus, you told me, this really hit me when I was watching the movie. When you said that, they did Adam Warlock perfectly in terms of, like, this made him a dumb child.
Yeah.
And I thought that worked so. I love in this movie throughout the entirety.
He was really funny in that movie.
He was hilarious. And just him being a dumb child made sense because that's pretty much him in the comics anyway. But what any of thoughts on like any of the character or any characters you want to throw out, any of like like Adam Warlock and like that? We'll have a whole segment. We're gonna talk about High Evolutionary, like because that ties with Rocket. But
like I said, I wish we had talked about this when it was fresh in my mind. I think it comes to streaming in like a week or two.
Yeah.
Because like we were saying, like all the characters in this, the writing is so solid. It's kind of a perfect sequel in that you need to watch the other movies to have context to this situation, and seeing where those characters started and where they are now and where they end up is just very like narratively satisfying. Like I like where everyone ended, in this place with like the new Guardians and Star-Lord going to Earth and like reconnecting with his grandfather and all the other stuff with all the other characters. I thought was great. I don't know what they're gonna do with Star-Lord. You know, we got that thing at the end, Star-Lord really will return, and I was kind of just like, okay, what does that? I don't know what that means. I don't really know.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll see. James, any other characters you want to point out? Any arcs that came to mind before we talk about like High Evolutionary and Rocket? I guess.
I love James Gunn casting Nathan Fillion. I love James
Yeah,
Gunn
that shit
casting
was
his
great.
I love James Gunn casting Diana Melichor as a character. I
Like,
love James Gunn reusing casting. I will always die for James Gunn reusing casting.
I
Fuck
thought that scene where they go to that like organic organic factory or whatever, and we see like Jennifer Holland, who's James Gunn's wife, and Nathan Fillion and wifey, aka Danielle Melchior, come back. I thought that was so fun.
If James Gunn didn't fucking reuse his casting, we wouldn't have gotten the best MCU villain ever. We wouldn't have gotten that. We wouldn't have fucking gotten anything.
Yeah,
anyway.
That's true. That's true.
10 out of 10 movie.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for Superman Legacy.
Yeah, this honestly like got me really hyped to see what James Gunn's. It's kind of cemented for me. I'm very excited to see what James is gonna do with the DC when he gets when that stuff starts rolling through. All right, so I want to talk real quick about High Evolutionary because what actor's name? Chuck Woody Wooji, who very Nigerian name, Jesus Christ. But Chuck Woody Wooji, who plays the High Evolutionary in this, man. I'm gonna do one thing. This is gonna be some of my thoughts. This man was eating. Oh my lord. Be the best villain I think I've seen. Like thus far in the MCU. I thought he was incredible. Like just like this the way that he in terms of like how he interacts with Rocket, because he pretty much he made Rocket into the person that he is, unfortunately, through the amount of like experimentation and torture and abuse. And the fact that like he was pretty much an abusive father towards him, because there were moments where he would be very soft and sweet when he's teaching Rocket Rocket things, like after the experimentation, but he would snap back to being ruthless and be like, oh yeah, no, we're gonna incinerate all of your friends, by the way, because they're not perfect, they're useless. And the idea of just be a perfection, I think with his character, I thought was really well done. And the fact that he wasn't really seeking perfection. He just was tired of the way things are, and that was kind of reflected through what Rocket did to him when Rocket was younger, when he escaped, because I Evolutionary killed all of his friends, and then he pretty much disfigured the High Evolutionary pretty much during that flashback, and that pretty much cemented the idea of like, yeah, he's just tired of the way things are, because that reveal of like the skin that he had on his face was actually a mask of what he used to look like, because he deemed himself perfect at the time, but in reality he was very disfigured and just disfigured and just grossed out. I love the fact that pretty much cemented the theme of, yeah, he was just tired of the way things were. He was trying to fix something that couldn't be fixed, and I thought that was so good. I was like, man, it was just like I thought it was very well done. I thought Chuck Woody did a really good job. And like again, James was right. If James Gunn did not use his friends in his movies, we wouldn't have got this amazing performance by him. I thought it was incredible. But yeah, what are your thoughts on High Evolutionary and his ties to Rocket as a character?
I think he did a good job. I agree with everything that you were saying. He was very like almost like campy in a way at the beginning. Not quite campy, but I don't really know how to describe it. But there was also just like the like sinister side to him too. Like he wasn't always like the one like outright violent, but like he was always the one like ordering it and being like you're not good enough, like I don't really care about you, and that like kind of backhanded compliment kind of way,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree as well. Seamus, any more thoughts on this man playing a character that Maddie hates? Maddie hates Evolutionary. When High Evolutionary was announced, I literally was like,
That's because nobody gives a shit about High Evolution.
that's true.
Hey, he had a minor role in Jonathan Hickman's Fantastic Four. He wasn't really in it, but his device that he created. I think that he's the best MCU villain. He's better than Thanos. Shoot me, but he's better than Loki. I think that the way that they tied his story into Rockets was so well done. It was one of those times where you're like, how have they not done this in the comics before?
That's what I'm saying too. Like, it makes sense why it makes sense. Like, Rocket being an anthropomorphic raccoon, him being a product of the High Evolutionary. That just makes sense.
Yeah, it just makes sense, and that's what's so great about James Gunn's writing is that he does stuff that you're like, yeah, why wouldn't they have done that in the comics already?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah,
yep.
But yeah, I'm gonna say this real quick. When Rocket got his friends all murdered, I cried. When Rocket saw his friends in the afterlife, I cried. When Nebula said that what Rocket went through was 10 times worse than what Thanos did to her, I cried. Like, I was like, I just
a lot of emotions in this movie.
Yeah, a lot of them, like the emotional resonance of this movie was so strong to me. And Rocket is my favorite Guardian. So like I thought finally seeing his backstory and how tragic it was. I was like, Jesus Christ. I was like, it's too much. But yeah, I just want to say real quick now, just the ending of the film. Obviously, Rebecca already said that. So Star-Lord, so all the Guardians as we see it, because I love the fact that a lot of people were theorizing that like one Guardian was gonna die, and James Gunn was hammering on that too, because there were so many points throughout the movie I thought that there was a Guardian going to die. Like, I thought Peter was gonna die, I thought Drax was gonna die.
There were a lot of fake outs.
There were a lot of fake outs. But yeah, so basically just the Guardians as we know it so far has disbanded. So Star-Lord, Gamora is Gamora's a Ravager, by the way. I forgot to mention that, which I thought was fit this version of the character. So Star-Lord went back to Earth to go visit his grandfather, which again I love how they tied with Star-Lord's character that Star-Lord was pretty much running away from actually facing his family throughout the entirety of the last 3 movies. That was really great. So he goes back to Earth, sees his grandfather still alive, and spends time on Earth with him. And they revealed that Rebecca said that he's going to be coming back again in the future in the MCU, which again, don't know what that's going to entail, because I don't know what that's going to entail.
I don't know if I really want Star-Lord without the other Guardians, you know?
I mean, I guess, but I mean, I don't mind. Actually, I love Star-Lord a lot, the most out of this movie, than I've seen him in the other appearances, either in the other appearance as well, and even in the last 2 movies, I think. So this movie actually made me excited to go see Star-Lord again. Mantis has gone our separate ways. Drax and Nebula are going to be staying on Nowhere to lead Nowhere and to raise these new group of hybrids that the High Evolutionary created. And also along with Kraglin and Cosmo, and again, love Cosmo a lot in this movie. She's played by Maria Bakalova, who was in the Borat sequel and Bodies. So I love the fact that she was having so much fun doing this as well. So yeah, that's a thing. And the thing that I was so excited for, and I was talking to Rebecca yesterday, I'm not sure if we're ever going to see this, but I really hope we see them again. They make an appearance, but we have the new Guardians of the Galaxy, which basically are composed of Rocket as the leader, which again, knowing his arc was well-deserved. And also the fact that he refers to himself as Rocket Raccoon after facing the fact that he knows that he's a raccoon. Great. Love it. So Rocket Raccoon as the leader, Cosmo, Adam Warlock, Kraglin with the Yondu stuff. Groot, who is now fucking Colossus now, which I loved. I was like, that's amazing. And Phi Lavelle, a young Phi Lavelle, who was one of the hybrid kids that was taken from that was created by the High Evolutionary. So yeah, I really love this roster. Again, Seamus reminds me so much of the Dan Abnett run again, because I love the fact that they were wearing the Dan Abnett Guardians costumes. I thought that was phenomenal. But yeah, like I want to see more of this roster, guys. Like I think it's a good roster. Like I think it's a really good roster.
I like the roster. I think it'd be fun. I don't think we're going to see any more Guardians for a long time, if ever.
Yeah, I don't want. I'm not asking for a whole movie. I just want like 2 minutes, just a 2-minute appearance of them again, or in something. I think the roster is great. Special. Yeah, yeah. Do another Christmas special. Fuck it. Yeah. I also love the fact that they like if you watch the Guardians Christmas special, it pretty much branched right after that. I love that a lot. So, but yeah, overall, man, this movie's a 9.5 out of 10 for me. The only thing it's a dumb nitpick that I have. It's a stupid nitpick, but like, where the fuck did Star-Lord's flying boots and helmet go? Like, where did they go? Where did they go? Because like this man almost died in space. I'm like, you have a helmet that makes you survive in space. Like
the helmet got destroyed in Infinity War, and then he left his boots in his desk in nowhere.
Well,
that's what James
going to do. So
that's what James Gunn tweeted that because someone asked him that, and he goes, he left them at nowhere because his friend was mortally wounded and dying. So he had to
okay, that makes sense.
He had to get on a spaceship very quickly.
Yeah, I like that.
His friend got shot.
Yeah, his friend got shot. But yeah, 9.5 out of 10 for me again. Top 5 MCU for me. Top 10 favorite movies of all time. Top 10 favorite movies of all time for me. Very excited to see what they're gonna do with Star-Lord next in his appearance in the MCU going forward. Really want to see more of this version of Guardians, of the new Guardians, but I know we're not, but it's fine. But this most cemented gave me even more hope and more faith that James Gunn's going to do a great job with Superman Legacy and the DCU going forward with this reset. And yeah, that's it for me. What are y'all any final thoughts on Guardians 3?
I'll just give my rating. Sure. Like I said, love the movie. It's been a while since I watched it, so all of the nitpicks are out of my head. I'm going to give it a 9. And maybe if I'm feeling a little spicy, maybe even it might be a 10.
Uh-huh. Ooh.
It might be a 10.
Rebecca don't give 10s that often. So
I don't.
Seamus, fucking, what's your verdict, man?
Holy shit. Holy shit. No, I'm sorry. 10? Holy shit. No, it is a holy shit out of 10. Sorry. Yes, I loved it. It's my favorite. It's top 3 favorite MCU movies. It's easily a 10 out of 10. I don't see any problems with this movie outright. It's so good. Yeah, I cried both times watching it. I watched it twice. I was saying holy shit because I just saw I didn't see this earlier that Marvel's teasing the new X-Men.
No way. Wait. Like MCU X-Men?
No. Like comics, comics. They're ending the Krakoa saga.
Who gives a shit about comics X-Men? Come on now.
Yeah. No, I didn't know they were ending Krakoa that soon.
Oh, I knew. I had a feeling they were.
I didn't know that, but I just saw the teaser that was like, "Who are the new X-Men?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's gonna be Kamala Khan, isn't it?"
Yeah, probably. But yeah. So it's a pretty much a high rating from us. Indie Corner seal of approval. 2 stamps this time. I'm double stamping this shit because this movie's incredible. But yeah. So lastly, to wrap it up, I mean, it's pretty much a wrap up point. But recommendations. Anyone have any recommendations? I have 3 things I want to recommend because I need people to check this stuff out. So I'm gonna start off first. But yeah, so I got 2 recommendations. 2 are comics and one's actually like something is actually a TV show. So what I'm gonna be recommending both. One I read yesterday, and the other one I was reading right before starting this podcast, but I didn't finish it because I loved it so much. I'm gonna put it out there anyway. So I'm going to be recommending in terms of comic books, Daredevil number 13 and Blade number 1.
Yes, sir.
Yo, all right. So for Daredevil number 13, pretty much is coming to the closing point of the Chip Zdarsky, Marco Checchetto, Daredevil, Red Fist saga. Incredible because it's pretty much it's freaking Daredevil in hell being led by his ghost dad, where he's trying to rescue the spirits, the ghosts of Foggy and Stick because they're dead, and I think it's basically just him coming to terms with his past and also dealing with the beast, which is the entity of the hand, and learning a little secret about the fist that he was unaware of while he's down there, and it's incredible. Like I'm loving. I'm really upset that this is gonna be like that. Why can't Zdarsky just write it up for another 3 more years? Why? Just let him do it. Let him cook for 3 more years. It's the me and Jamie just talked about it enough. It is the best book we've read in a very long time.
We've been talking about this book for like 2 years.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So yeah, that's my number. That's my first one. Check it out. Blade number 1. I found out about today when I was at work because I heard the Blur Without Fear talk about it. Read it, tried reading it as much as I could. Like before we started, I read half of it. Yo, I'm gonna say this off rip. I'm gonna full screen myself because I want people to take this very seriously. Finally, my prayers have been answered. A good Blade solo book. Lord. Yo. This book, like from what I only read half of it, and I was like, this is so interesting. I'm like, it's basically like it's Blade come like not only just like obviously Blade vampire hunter, successful vampire hunter, but like he might be fighting the main villain for this might be a demon that he it might be a demon that he's trying to deal with. So like a higher threat that's bigger than vampires. So I think it's like yes, that's what I wanted from Blade because I know that because I want to see Blade fight other entities that aren't just vampires, obviously. But yeah, it was really. I'm not gonna say anything else besides that, but because I gotta finish the rest of it. But like it from what I was reading, like it's really good. It's written by Brian Hill and it has artwork by I'm trying to find the because I literally downloaded the book while I was reading it. But yeah, Brian Hill was writing it. And I'm not too familiar with Brian Hill's work, but I'm a fan now because he was from what he was setting up it seemed pretty cool. But the artwork is drawn by I'm waiting for this thing to load up. The artwork is done by the last name is Casagrande. And I mean the artwork is really cool, really a nice, really cool painted, kind of like a mix of like comic booky and painted style. But yeah, I mean Elena Casagrande, who I think that name sounds familiar actually. I might have seen some work she did for some work previously. But yeah, great book. And the arc is called the Mother of Evil arc, and some good shit. It's finally a good Blade book because like most Blades have either been mid or terrible. So I'm just happy that like I'm actually enjoying this. But yeah, so that's in terms of comic stuff. The second recommendation is actually a TV show and actually a Disney Plus show that came out, a little animated anthology that I was so hyped to watch after I heard the concept of it. But the animated anthology known as Kizazi Moto, aka Generation Fire, on Disney Plus. Really good. It's literally just a animated anthology. I'm focusing on African stories done by various studios from various African countries. So you have African studios so we have some animated stuff from Uganda, Zimbabwe, South Africa, Kenya. No Tanzania, unfortunately, but hopefully next season. But yeah, guys, it's really good. It is literally like Love, Death, and Robots, or like Star Wars Visions, but just with unique African, Afrofuturism, Afro fantasy stories, and really top-notch animation. It's actually being produced by one of the guys that produced Spider-Verse. So he's on board with it, and they have some African producers as well on top of it. Yeah, and I'm like 5 episodes into it. I love it. It's phenomenal, and it got me so. As an artist, as myself, it got me so inspired. And just seeing like my continent, my people, showcasing their own storytelling, their own way. I think is phenomenal, and I thought it's really good. Have y'all checked this out at all? Yeah.
I've seen one episode. The last episode. I know the studio who did that also did one of the things in Star Wars Vision Season 2.
Okay.
So the last episode of that show was done by the same studio who did the it was like Owl's song or whatever in Star Wars Visions.
Gotcha. Okay. Seamus, have you checked it out?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing. what was it, the day after it came out, because it just sounds super cool.
Mhm.
I really enjoyed it. It was really fucking cool.
Yeah, and it's just. I just thought this is like because you got a mix of 3D animation. I saw some stop motion in there, 2D animation. Like so I think one of them had a blend of all three. I think I was like shit.
Yeah, it's
But
basically
yeah,
like if you like Star Wars Visions, but you wanted more original ideas, then like
mhm.
If you like Star Wars Visions but don't like Star Wars,
Yeah.
exactly.
But yeah, no, I know it's just like again, Africa, man. We don't play in terms of like we're stepping up in the animation game. I was so happy to see that. Like I didn't make some like art. I got me so inspired. But yeah, overall people, yeah, Kazazimoto, Generation Fire, amazing. Check those episodes out. I think Surf Sangoma and Herder Boy are like my favorite ones. I think I love those 2 episodes a lot. But yeah, anyone else have any recommendations at all before we close out?
I'm not sure if I've already plugged this on the channel or not. If you're not reading it, and I'm like an issue or 2 behind, you should be reading She-Hulk by, I think it's Rainbow Rowell. Very cute romance, very nice to look at art. I think they're getting a new #1 sometime in the fall. I saw that on Twitter like the other day. But very enjoyable series.
Okay. All right. Seamus, what do you recommend, bro?
I got a bunch of shit. Do you want me to just start listing shit?
I mean, just go off. I don't care.
Top 3.
Ultimate Invasion was sick, and everyone talks shit at me because I was hyping up Ultimate Invasion, but who knew Jonathan Hickman's a good writer?
I read the first volume. I read the first volume, and I was like, the first issue, I'm like, this book is actually kind of wild,
right? Like, I love that it was just basically like an Illuminati book that Hickman was like, let's bring him back, fuck it. I love the whole concept of the Maker not even really knowing if he's ever met Miles before, because no one really does know if he's met Miles before. He's like, I know who you are. And Miles is like, I don't think I know who you are. And the Maker's like, shit's happened before. We've switched universes. It doesn't matter. But I am super intrigued at the specifically. It sounds so stupid. Oh my god, he pulled it up for me. Oh my god.
Yep. I'm gonna do it to Rebecca too, but she talked too quick.
It sounds it sounds so stupid, but the universe numbers and the way that the issue ends has me so intrigued. I think I know where it's going. I have an idea of where it's going, but I'm very excited to see what actually happens and what Hickman has building, because they did announce that this is leading to a relaunch of the whole Ultimate line again. So, yeah. But, okay, here's what has me excited is that I think saying we are starting the Ultimate line up again with Hickman at the helm is far more interesting than Bendis, right?
Bendis, yeah. Because remember what I said, throw back from the After Dark last time when we did Spider-Man Across Spider-Verse, when I said, the reason why I did not like Spider-Man 2 because he just dropped the Ultimate Universe again, expected Marvel to pick it up, but they didn't.
Yep.
So,
and that's why I 100% believe that's why the Ultimate Universe was so shit, because Bendis kind of was like, I'll do Spider-Man, and then they let everyone else go buck wild with their bullshit. And that's what made everything shit. And I think if you have Hickman starting it off, then you can have writers do interesting things, because then Hickman will be like, no, you can't have Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver have sex with each other. No, you're not doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that only lasts as long as Hickman's around.
That's what I'm saying. But I think that he will set it up well enough that I will get a good year of comics out of it.
That's fair.
I will be getting at least 12 solid issues of everything. Where I can have a
good year of Marvel Comics is also asking for a lot.
So. Exactly. And I feel like I will be safe enough.
All right. What else, Seamus? What
I actually read the beginning of Night Terrors, the new event from DC.
Oh, yeah. How's that?
It kind of goes hard. I hate that it goes hard, because I wanted to hate this event when I saw that reading list and they had like 4,000 comics on there. But then I read the first issue and I was like, this is actually fucking cool.
And I also heard that the tie-ins are actually just as integral and as important to the actual main story, which like never happens.
Which
in events these days.
it simultaneously pisses me off even more that I have to read all that, but it also makes me super excited that it seems like they had the foresight to be like, yeah, how will this tie-in actually fit into the story? Which is
How will
cool.
this tie-in actually tie in?
Exactly. They never do that shit. Yeah,
And it's
it's very interesting. The next one, what was the next one that I was? Anything by Mark Waid right now. Read literally any of the books.
Shazam is so good. I've been reading Shazam. Lord, it's so good. Like
Shazam's so good. Teen Titans is so good. Read any if Mark Waid is on the cover, pick it up and read it because you're gonna fucking be in for a treat. Okay, Batman and Superman, all that shit is so good. He's so good. I keep forgetting how fucking good he is, but he is so goddamn good.
All right.
Those are my three for comics. I don't think I have anything else, honestly, for anything. Yeah, I think that's it for me.
What's it called? I would have recommended another thing, but I didn't get a chance to read it, so I'm not gonna do that. But yeah, everyone, that's pretty much it. So that's pretty much the outro. So thanks for everyone who are watching this or will watch this. We appreciate the support. I like doing these news ones again, so we might maybe crank out maybe like one or two more before the year is over, hopefully. But yeah, thanks Rebecca and Seamus for getting on with me. This was fun. This was a lot of fun. We got good conversation out of it, and yeah, but that's pretty much it, people. Yeah, so just quick plugs, real quick. So check out the last episode of the most recent episode we did of the Deadly Class podcast. Rebecca did episode 5, covering the carousel volume, which again I thought was really good. Check out the clip I just dropped last night, which is the one we did of the clip of Miles Morales of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse with Miles talking about the two big twists within the end of that movie. Now that check out the I'm gonna drop YouTube short another recommendation sometime soon, and I have a really good comic I'm gonna recommend that I want y'all to check out. Check out the rest of the clips, the reactions, Barbie review, the Barbie reaction. Rebecca, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. It's like I don't know how she don't miss, Seamus. She don't miss. I don't get it.
She's staying. I'm seeing that this weekend, Saturday.
Yeah,
I'm doing Barbenheimer.
It's amazing.
Is it? Fuck! I got it. Everyone I know just came out of it and was like, "It's so good," and I'm like, "You motherfuckers!"
It's one of those movies I feel like you're gonna appreciate more if you're a woman. But
I'll get into that zone.
Not a woman,
I'll get into that zone. Don't worry.
Yeah. Check out the reactions and intros reaction, the Barbie reaction that has freaking 6.5K. What? And yeah, that's pretty much it. Also, I'm gonna just tease right now. We got a small little interview that's gonna be coming up. We got a one and done, 2 one and dones. I want to get out of the way. So yeah, I expect more content. Obviously BlurCon is kind of done now, so now I have more time to start, fleshing out stuff and planning. But yeah, people just stay on the lookout for more content. A Barbenheimer review that's gonna happen at some point. And
we'll see.
Next week, hopefully. But yeah, that's pretty much people. Comment, like, subscribe, click notification bell so you know when we drop more stuff. We appreciate the support. We're almost at I don't know how many subscribers at this point. I think we're almost at like 170, hopefully. But yeah, we're gonna be at 200 by the end of the year, so we'll almost beat the Students of Shield, hopefully. By the end of the year. And yeah, as always, get home safe. We love you and have a good one. All right. Peace.